Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I am here with the all wonderful, all powerful TSM Ed Sheeran.
Hello. And I am trying to figure out what to do because I was there's been a bit of a lobby incident, so I'm trying to get myself up to speed with the draft page. Um,
Oh, do you need the link?
yeah, I just got it.
Okay. Today we have the Devs versus Mug Maniacs. This is going to be round one, best of five in the losers bracket.
Mm-hmm.
The 6 seed versus the 7 seed. Devs being 6, so they will have blue side for the first match.
Yep. And these two teams actually play out pretty differently, I think, in their games. I think people are pretty aware that Mug Maniacs plays mostly through Donnie and Asteria in the bot side here, and more recently we've seen a lot of priority from Giuseppe Hack, ADOD, and DV for VP in the top side for the devs. So I think this game is going to be, or this series is going to be, we're going to see a number of races here between the two sides of the map.
And an instant Swain ban coming out from Mug Maniacs. Perhaps they watched that match versus ZWD and they do not want to give that to Eddie OD.
Yeah, and I wouldn't blame him. It looks like one of his better champions, and honestly, he just smurfed on it, so why no reason to give it to him.
Most teams in La Liga looking to ban out ADOD in first three. Maybe a little bit less effective than it has been before. We have seen some more agency, some more potency in DV for VP's picks lately.
Yeah, and we're actually seeing. It looks like both teams have come quite prepared today. We saw these bans get pretty much rapid fire drawn, and heavy bot lane focus from the devs on the bans, getting rid of Samir and Vayne, just two of Korai's best champions. And they do end up locking Misfortune B1, and then Trundle Blitzcrank are the response to that. I don't really like the Thresh over here, though, because I feel like Blitzcrank just...
yeah,
I feel like he's countering himself.
Blind Blitzcrank pick could have responded with Morgana or something, but the Echo is open for Giuseppe Hack, and they're going to take it.
Yeah, I don't think Giuseppe Hack has had many opportunities to play his Echo, but this man is an Echo one-trick if I've ever seen one. Man, he's actually really incredible on it. I haven't played against it personally in La Liga, mostly because I don't want to see it, but the few times that I have seen him play it in like solo queue, flex queue, whatever, he's popped off, man, pretty consistently with the champion too.
And it looks like they are banning out DV for VP in R4, R5 bans. Yeah, Draven response, looking to really abuse this MF Thresh early. They basically comfort picks, I think, for the devs bot lane, and not sure how comfortable these champions are for Mug Maniacs.
Yeah, and I kind of have to question how effective Mug Maniacs' draft strategy here will actually be, because just looking at it so far, it seems like the devs are 3 for 3 on like comfort picks or most played here so far.
Yeah.
Ornn being locked in though, shortly after the second phase of bans. Pretty good frontliner overall. I do worry about Mug Maniac's ability to actually put out constant damage.
Yeah, looking a little lacking here, but also with the Shun response, also kind of matching that a little bit of a struggle for damage with also Thresh support Shen top. Ornn definitely a decent blind pick here. Also alerting that the Trundle is for sure going in the jungle. So it looks like mid is a big priority in this game.
Yeah, both mid laners getting picked last here, but man, devs just seem like they've gotten everything that they've wanted out of this draft so far, at least individually. Yeah. I don't know how well that these champions will play together in game. I do worry that the devs are a little weak early game. Vladimir obviously being pretty much a negative pressure mid laner, but
yeah.
And Mug Maniacs having Draven and Blitzcrank are very threatening early, but
you always have to respect comfort from La Liga teams. And Syndra does come out It was announced that it is going to be available. It is going to be available today. It
Hmm.
does come out, and it comes out last pick.
Yep, and I think it's a perfectly good counter into Vladimir. I mean, Vladimir is one of the few mid laners I think that can't punish how weak Syndra actually is early now with these changes. I think she's a little bit weaker overall, but
One hundred
um,
percent.
she scales into a monster late game, so her and Vlad
And it
play out pretty similarly.
Yeah, and it will force either an instant pull or CC from range uh, in these later fights.
Hmm.
Now, you always have to respect comfort picks in La Liga, even if isn't really team isn't really centered on team fighting, or doesn't really look like they have an overall strategy
Hmm.
like the devs here. But always have to respect people playing on champions that they know how to play.
Yeah, and Dev's getting a lot of their comfort picks, but honestly, Asteria is really cracked with the Draven. I gotta say, I think he and his support here, which by the way is not actually Pat Clark this week. So for those of you that don't know, Shrubby Turtle is filling in for Pat Clark for this series, and so I question how much synergy that these two will have because they haven't had much time to play together. But I mean, Draven Blitzcrank, it's hard to go wrong early game.
Yeah, could. I mean, it could be a really huge factor, especially considering the devs. The devs bot side is objectively the weaker side of their team,
Hmm.
and I would imagine Mug Maniacs is um, looking to take an advantage early in the bot side.
Yeah, and man, if I'm the devs, this is a great draft for the devs, but also like if the devs lose with this draft, having 4 out of their 4 like 5 main champions, what does that say about the series going forward? I mean, because if you're losing on your comfort picks, it becomes really difficult to get your team out of the mental state that will cause.
Absolutely.
All right, and we're gonna be throwing up a prediction on the game soon. So if you guys want to spend your channel points and get scammed out of them when your prediction is inevitably wrong because it's La Liga, well, feel free to do that. Yeah, I think I think the Shen is a really good pick here. I mean, it's just so good at saving the Vladimir and the Misfortune early on because those two really lack damage compared to their counterparts, and
Absolutely, especially into a Blitzcrank lane where high possibility they will be out of position.
hmm.
Um, Also, really annoying for the Trundle and the Draven to play through.
Hmm.
Draven really not having any damage outside of his auto attacks.
Yeah.
Trundle can get countered, and also is really nice into Ornn as well. I believe Shen is statistically favored, almost for the sole reason that Shen can block the brittle procs from Ornn.
Yeah, he can proc the brittle, or he can block the, wow, that is a tongue twister. Block the brittle procs from occurring, but also he's just stronger in the trades with the Grasp of the Undying early. So he's actually quite lane dominant. And with Grasp giving him health back, he almost always is guaranteed to win the trades. But
Yeah,
yeah,
not to mention the key barrier in his passive.
yeah. The other thing though is that he's really the only frontliner for his team in this game, so Dark Juice actually has a really easy time just picking a target to ult this game.
Absolutely.
So it's gonna be tough for David regardless, or DV for VP regardless, just because he's going to have to position really, really well for his team in these fights.
Yeah, kind of a dance between how fast can Mud Maniacs burst down the front line from the devs, and how effectively can this Echo and this Vladimir
Hmm.
get a kill onto the Draven and Syndra, and there's almost no damage left from Mud Maniacs.
Hmm. Yeah, and I do like Mug Maniacs giving Venom the Thresh. Pretty sure even when he lands a few hooks on it, he still doesn't know how to close out games. I'm speaking from experience. I got hooked by him like 7 times in lane. It was actually super annoying. I think Venom's a really good Thresh. I just feel like he counterpicked
I
himself
agree.
here.
I agree. Not something that sees a lot of banning, especially with some strong solo lanes on the side of the devs.
Hmm.
Um, and of course, the Echo one trick that he is called in Giuseppe hack.
Hmm.
But definitely still really strong on Thresh. Venom is, and it
Yeah,
needs to be respected.
yeah, he's really strong, and I haven't seen Donnie play Syndra in a while, but it is a pick that I historically know him to have played a little bit here and there, so he's definitely not unfamiliar with the champion. I don't know how much he's played with the rework, um, but I mean, since they locked it in pretty much instantly on his turn, my guess is that it's something that they've practiced.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not sure how much league content people like to absorb these days, but I've been watching Nemesis and Chovy and all sorts of high elo mid laners absolutely dominate on the pick if the game gets to a later stage.
Hmm. Yep. Just 15 seconds left now, remaining on the spectator delay roughly. We'll be spending some time here getting synced up real quick, and then we will get into game one. Yep, so we will be going to a quick pause. See you guys when the game is loaded.
The era of metal has begun, and metal shall prevail. For we know what they have done. 5 legends of our realm who sought to follow the path of their dark musings. But they did not know what they had summoned. Pentakill. To these creatures, there is but one thing left to do. Heavy metal. My king, how was I supposed to know? Everyone will falter when you die. And as we speak, the army of our enemy is approaching our gates. We cannot fly. Behold, my son, there's a way to save you all. Don't you despair, don't be petrified. There is an armor, ancient magic made it strong, and you shall wear it
Welcome
when
back,
you
everybody.
face the fight.
We're getting into game here, game one. We've got a little bit of an invade going here. Oh, Thresh is actually going to find the hook first on a Blitzcrank, so he's not going to get anything useful here. And Shelby Turtle going to find himself falling before the 1 minute mark here. Not the start that Mug Maniacs would have liked. And, well, there's, uh, there's the first minute for you. And, just want to make sure real quick. Are you synced up with me? by the way?
I'm 110 right now.
Okay, good. Sorry, we had a little bit of an issue with all the spectating getting into game, but we're in. We made it.
Yep, so that's an instant 600 gold to the dev side.
600. Oh yeah, true. That's just money as well. God, you're so
And
big brain. This is why you're plat now.
and it was early enough, so MF is able to come back to lane with that gold advantage.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's gonna be huge for him. Getting a second BF or a second longsword there means he's basically going to be. He'll have enough AD over the Draven right now. The trades aren't gonna be too terrible for him if he takes them. With that being said, Conquer out of Vlad is the thing I'm noticing here out of the summoners and runes here.
Yeah.
A little bit of an odd
Um,
one, but I don't know.
I can see the reasoning with how tanky Mug Maniacs is looking. But yeah, also not sure how effective it will be.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the problem is that with Syndra having first strike, she's very obviously just gonna go for like QE trades, and Vladimir's not ever going to have enough time to fully stack Conquer. Now, it will be more useful later in team fights, but we'll have to see if he can even find good positioning on Ornn and Trundle and Blitzcrank, so it'll be
Oh,
a
the
tough
hook's
task
gonna
for him.
miss onto the Draven here in the bot lane.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the power of the double longsword. If MF only had one longsword there, 10 less damage for you.
Yeah.
But
Going to
yeah.
reduce Draven Blitzcrank's advantage early here,
Mhm.
but we'll still see if they'll be able to make something happen.
Yep.
Shen also giving up wave control. We may be seeing a gank here in the mid lane shortly. Both junglers looking like they're heading to that position.
Yep, and these short trade patterns mid are what I talked about with like Syndra having first strike, she just gets to QE, and Vladimir can't really do anything about it, so his keystone basically does not exist in his laning phase. Good trade coming out of so much dog here in the top lane onto the Shen, but won't be able to
Yeah.
do much more.
Shen wanting to hold those wave as much as possible, especially with the power of his W, also blocking minion damage. But it is going to come in here. We're going to get a two-man dive with the Trundle. He's going to block autos. This doesn't look good for
Oh!
Trundle. The taunt through is going to
Oh!
guarantee a 1-for-1. Really well played from DV there.
Yeah, that was great by DV to turn that, but man, that felt a little bit like I don't know, it felt a little overly forced if I'm Mug Maniacs there. It, and it's just a 2-for-1 in DV's favor from that turret dive.
Yeah. He
Now,
is going to opt to TP back and look for a slow push here.
yeah. Now, I have a conspiracy theory that I'd like you to entertain with me. Do you
Of
think Mug
course.
Maniacs did that because the La Liga team with a lead tends to throw?
Uh, I know Asteria is known for his tricks, but I doubt they go that deep.
I don't know, man. He's
We'll
kind of a
see if you're
mastermind.
correct. So still even CS here between the two junglers, even though Trundle spent that time topside.
Yep, and
Looks like both mid and top waves for blue side are slow pushing in.
yep. And we do see Echo pathing towards bot here, and I don't think anything will happen. Draven and Blitzcrank have done a very good job of getting themselves an early pink ward, so they will spot out. Oh, maybe not actually. Shrubby Turtle commits here, but Echo is waiting. Looks like nothing will actually happen here. ADOD, meanwhile, taking a little bit of a poor trade. Not
Yeah,
terrible, but
getting poked out a decent amount here. But because Cinder is opting for the trade, the wave will crash in and Vlad will look for a reset.
mm-hmm.
Really
And
smart use of W here from Shen. He's going to block the brittle proc.
yep. Trundle actually walked up towards Vladimir there, so he didn't have an opportunity to look for a recall at all. And now he's just sort of low health in a lane, but he will eventually be able to regenerate that health with his Qs, but it takes a long time early on.
Yep. And really heads up play here from red side, getting bot wave shoved in and waiting for the mid wave to kind of reset here to go for the dragon.
Yep, and they do get that. They're probably just going to reset here after crashing the next wave bot, but I'd like to point out actually a 10 CS lead now held by Vladimir. He's done such a good job of like just keeping the wave where he needs to keep it in order to farm well. And I always respect like Anivia and Vladimir players for farming well because it's so difficult on those champions. Even though Vladimir doesn't have like mana or anything, his autos are really slow and weak. So
Absolutely.
especially into a Syndra that can just like AoE push into him, it can be hard sometimes in that matchup. But Addy's playing it well so far.
Oh, we are seeing the bot wave. Oh, here's a
Ooh.
hook from Thresh. The Flay follow-up's going to look like a kill. Draven's going to go in here, but he's going to get exhausted. Also, Shenhold coming in. Does not look like he's going to be able to return a kill, and that's going to be a 2 for nothing for the devs.
Yep, and other than the Thresh flashing there on top of himself, it was a really good play by him to look for the hook early there. Basically, in this matchup between Blitzcrank and Thresh, whoever lands the hook first wins most of the time. And yeah, Venom just playing well around his vision there, knows that as soon as he lands the hook, they can just commit to that, and so they do.
Venom, one of the best players I've seen in La Liga at using Shen ult aggressively. You hear a lot of things in La Liga of people being stuck on Ornn and Shen duty, but that is not the case with DV for VP.
Yeah, no, he's one of his most played champions is the Shen, and I mean he's obviously just a great laner and has a lot of macro knowledge, so it shows in his ability to just look for ults that benefit his team a lot more directly than some of the other Shens that we've seen in La Liga.
Yeah. Taunt is not going to hit for the Shen under the Ornn, but we do see Vladimir and Echo rotating here topside. Looking for a fight on this Trundle. He does flash out. Here comes the Vladimir ult as well. Really good knockup by the Ornn. Ornn coming through. Trundle does fall, but not enough turret damage on a single target here to return a kill for Maniacs. Really well played by the devs.
Yeah, they played that super well, and they just turned what looked like it was maybe potentially pretty good for the Ornn initially, but I mean they just come up with the Vladimir and Echo, and they have numbers, so they win the fight pretty quickly, and nothing much to be said. However, on the bot lane, Draven did pick up a turret plate in the meantime, so a little bit of gold back in his pocket, but we're still seeing, I mean, there's about a 1,500 gold lead, and a lot of it is on the bot lane and top lane right now. So
yeah, really nice trade for Ornn here. Shen's taunt not coming through soon enough to get out of his E range. Echo is here, and Ornn has no R from the earlier fight. He looks like he's going to fall to the Echo.
Yep, and he does. Shrubby Turtle also in a risky position. Trundle is walking bot lane though. Adiod doesn't actually win this. Yeah. He does have the W.
He is able to W the Cinder ult there.
Yep, and Venom once again, man, he just knows. He who hooks will win.
We see another aggressive Shen ult here. He's going to taunt in on the Trundle, and he's going to block all autos with his W. He's going to flash over the wall. He's able to escape, and MF is looking for a kill on the Draven here, which he will find. That is a huge play from the devs yet again.
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking if you're Asteria because, I mean, you opted into this aggressive Draven Blitzcrank lane, but not only have you not found anything, you've actively been punished for your over-aggression early in this game by the Echo and by the Thresh. So, yeah, it's I mean, the game doesn't get easier for Draven as time goes on. His fortune skills way better in these fights, so yeah, it's gonna take some miracles for Maniacs to get back into this game.
Yeah, Draven also falling 0-2 after farming stacks both those times. Ornn Eing in here without any vision of the Echo.
Yeah, but he's actually doing quite a bit of damage to the Echo. Has to be a little careful here. They should be able to pick up this kill though, with Ornn being locked under this tower range.
Yeah. And we'll see what Shen is opting to do here with this wave. This could just be an easy recall.
Yeah, and right now we're sitting at a 3,500 gold lead for the devs at 10 minutes into this game. Good trade by Donnie there.
And what I was trying to touch on earlier is not only is Draven down the 4 kills to 0, but also being 0-2 and losing both his stacks at 2 different instances without finding a kill.
Yep, second dragon going to be going over to the side of Mug Maniacs here. They continue to play really well around these dragon objectives. Um, unless the steal comes out here from Giuseppe Hack, which could totally happen. The pillar misses actually. They do secure the dragon, but a fight's going to ensue afterwards. And, well,
The
more disaster.
Wombo AoE from the devs.
Yeah.
Absolutely just smashing that fight there. Great MF ult, as people were walking away from the dragon there. And also great Vladimir follow-up. Game is really, really taking a turn for the devs here.
Yep, and honestly, I mean, it is a best of 5, so if I'm Mug Maniacs, maybe their strategy at this point should just be to detach themselves from this game a little bit, because chances are this game's already over. Which hurts to say 11 minutes into the game, but you know, this best of 5 is a marathon, and this is just the first step in it.
We do see Blitzcrank and Trundle bot. We'll see if a hook
Yep.
comes through here. Blitzcrank gonna go melee range and charge the E. Missed
Oh.
hook from Thresh. Shenel comes through. He's able to block autos and tank for a long time. The MF gets hooked. MF is gonna fall. That's a
Yeah.
huge shutdown.
Wow.
Echo
Surely,
coming in here. He's
right?
gonna clean up the Trundle.
Nice.
Shen with the shield able to stay alive, and it ends up still being a cleanup for the devs.
Yeah, I mean, that was just, if this game wasn't so far ahead in the devs' favor with an 8,000 gold lead, or sorry, 6,000 gold lead at 10 minutes, like, they probably actually win that fight, because Venom was doing his best Alturas impression there for a second with the Thresh. Just kind of whiffing the death sentence, but it doesn't end up mattering when the Echo comes in.
Yeah. Ornn, not the greatest split pusher. He is going to take what he can when Shen is gone here. And you have to wonder how much is Mug Maniacs thinking about Shen ult being off cooldown when these fights occur.
Yeah, and I don't. There's 2 things I don't want to see next game. Actually, 3, and they're all in this game. I don't want to see Thresh, Echo, or Shen from any of the devs players.
Shen taking the blast gun here, really well played. Ornn has no opportunity to get over the wall.
Yeah, Adio
He's just going to auto him to death with these max HP autos from Shen.
Wow. The crazy thing there is Donnie and Dart Juice were actually trying to trade for the Vladimir in the meantime, but he flashed over the wall, and with the empowered Q, actually like just regened half his health bar back, and so Donnie and Dart Juice weren't able to finish the kill on him there.
And that is 7 stacks now as well, because that kill
Yeah.
on the Dark Seal for Vladimir, now that the kill goes over to him.
Yeah. And Vladimir is starting to get to the point where these trades will be really good for him, just because.
Oh, they're looking for the Trundle again here. Really nice Shen taunt. He's going to block autos. It is what it is. Trundle's going to fall. Herald will be dropped to take the tower. But again, not worth for Mug Maniacs.
Yep, and Dan, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel like this is definitive proof that Group B is better than Group A. Thoughts?
We'll leave that to interpretation.
Okay, fair enough.
My personal opinion, I'd like to agree with you. But I will try and stay as neutral as possible in these games.
I like stirring the pot. Okay, Shrubby Turtle does get caught in this bush here. Takes a little bit of damage, won't really matter unless he steps back up again, which he may. He's shown that he's
Blitzcrank
willing
gets
to
hit
do.
by a single hook here. He's might be in danger, but Trundle coming bot.
Yep.
Oh, hook missed from the
Thresh
Blitzcrank. Really
actually
close.
can just look here. Blitzcrank doesn't have anything. He's basically a walking melee minion for the next 20 seconds. Trundle is down there,
X-Ray
though.
looking for a trade here with Shen. He's
Did
not
you just
gonna
say
win.
X-ray?
Or excuse me, Ornn.
You did not just say X-ray is looking for a trade there.
Ornn looking for a trade, but with the gold lead on Shen, he's not going to win that trade. Trundle going in for the Vladimir here. The Shenel is going to come through. Is it enough? It is enough. Vladimir's going to walk out with his life.
Oh man, yeah, and unfortunately, X-ray wasn't alive there to be able to teleport mid.
My apologies. Absolutely no BM was meant there. Shen is going to get hooked here.
Yeah.
Very nice. The Ignite is going to tick, and it's going to be enough. And that's going to be gold over to Syndra. And that is a 1,000 gold shutdown.
Yeah, and that, I mean, going over to the Syndra too, that's exactly where you need the money to be for Mug Maniacs at this stage of the game. I mean, really at this point, Syndra's the only realistic like scaling damage threat. So putting 1,000 gold on her is, well, it's not much right now in this game, but it is a start. 6,000 gold
It
lead
is
still
something.
to the side of the devs. Third
We're
dragon of the
gonna
game
see.
coming up
We're
soon.
gonna see
Or it
Mug
is up already.
Maniacs
Sorry.
look for the dragon early here.
Yep.
They do have control and they do have vision. We'll see if
Just
anybody from the
Steppy Hack
devs.
waiting over the wall.
Nice knockup from the Ornn here. But the dragon does reset a bit. Thresh not
Yeah.
gonna take the hook into 4 people. But blue side is into the dragon pit now.
Oh, good flash play from Venom there.
Very nice MF ult, but does get canceled. Ornn able to get on the MF, but again, the gold lead really showing here. And the Wombo AoE from blue side is just too much for Mug Maniacs.
Man. Dude. Venom is playing it clean in these fights, man. He's making such a huge difference for his team on the Thresh here.
Yeah, 6 deaths for the Blitzcrank and 0 for the Thresh.
We call that a bot gap where I'm from. I'm used to hearing it from the enemy teams. And from my own AD carry, for reasons unknown.
Or voices unknown. And we are seeing still a very large bounty on the head of Vladimir and Echo, respectively.
Yeah.
A kill lead or a gold lead in every single position for the devs.
Yeah, and I almost feel bad for Mug Maniacs in this game because I don't know. I feel like they maybe watched like a like an LPL versus NA game and decided to be the NA team this game. But man, they're just getting blown out of the water in game 1. Devs have very clearly come quite prepared for this series.
Yeah, you have to wonder also. Echo going in here, almost one-shotting the Draven. He is going to ult away. We are going to see a TP from the Syndra. The Vladimir is going to get Shen ulted. Echo ults back. Blitzcrank is going to fall. Can the Echo make it out away from the Syndra? It looks like the Vlad's going to be able to clean up.
Yep.
And that is going to be a 3-for-0 again.
Yeah. And I know these games aren't forfeitable, but oof. I do think Mug Maniacs is probably just thinking about the next game at this point.
You know, I have to wonder if Blue Side really wanted to, could they look for a La Liga record here?
No, because I believe my team beat Obelisk of Obsidian in the preseason match in 19 minutes.
That is quite the timer.
So I don't think so. At least not for this season. I don't know. Unless you're not counting preseason games.
Shen going over the wall here, looking to Trundle, cut the Trundle's path off. It looks like he is going to be caught out, and that is just easy gold again for the Echo. The Ornn also out of position, tries to take
he
the
almost
Hex
got
Gate,
it.
but he won't get it in time because of MF auto.
He almost got away with the heist. Man, this game is just looking... I mean...
28-3.
Oh, Addy also getting hooked here. Might be in a little bit of an danger, but... Honestly, he just flashes out. He'll be fine.
Flash is going to be used from the Vladimir to guarantee his safety. He will take the blast cone and walk out.
Yep.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, devs are taking the Baron with 3 people. The Rift Herald. This is something they love to do, either Baron or Rift Herald. They love to put pressure on other sides of the map and take objectives without the whole team.
Yeah, and man, this is just looking... There's what is that, a 12k gold lead now for devs at 20 minutes? I mean, it was 6k at 10, and now it's 12k at 20, so it's just... This is looking like, I mean, man.
Yeah, I think if somehow this game is able to go 20 more minutes and Cinder has 2 more items, maybe this game is playable for Mug Maniacs, but I doubt the devs will let it get to that position. Echo doing a ton of damage to Blitzcrank here. They're going to drop the Herald in the mid lane and walk it in.
Mug Maniacs could actually like let 3 of their players get to 0-10 power spikes without even doubling their deaths at this rate, so maybe they just go for it.
Shen getting a good trade onto Ornn here.
Yep, good trade, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. He's 3 levels up. He could take a bad trade and it probably wouldn't matter either.
Looks like the blue side are positioning to go for Ornn here. Shen is so tanky.
And I
Blitzcrank hook
think
is going to miss. Thresh hook is going to hit onto the Blitzcrank. The MF ult comes through. Channel onto the Echo. The MF's going to fall on the backside, but still the whole... And that is going to be Trundle falling. Ornn coming through late. Echo's still alive. Still has ultimate. Shen almost full HP here.
oh, good flash attempt there, but just man, that was oh, okay, they're crossing
Oh,
paths.
Hexgate swap coming through from Syndra. Echo's gonna be eat away. Syndra's actually gonna
The
get out with
hell?
her life. I'm not sure if I've ever seen that before. That was amazing.
No, that was interesting. I like the creativity from Donnie there. Does actually
Oh
get
my
out in the end,
lord.
so wow, ADOD, the damage,
Empowered
man.
Vladimir Q. He can 3v1 here, possibly, but Cinder is going to come into the back. He's going to have the Zonias. The Cinder might die to the ultimate alone. She is going to live on 1 HP, but Vladimir also completely
Yep,
fine.
teleport coming in from Shen, though. He's going to look to turn this fight. Lands the taunt onto the Ornn, but it's really not a target you care for at this point, even though he's
Shen?
really weak.
Shen taking almost no damage from 3 champions at once.
Oh
Vladimir
no,
is going to W. Is he going to be able to live?
Oh!
Oh, he will fall. But again, the Shen, so tanky, is able to walk away after fighting 3 people at once.
Yeah, but that is a
And
lot
the
of
devs
shutdown
here-
gold.
The devs here pinging for Baron. Not really the greatest play for the devs, actually.
Yeah, not great at all because Draven did manage to pick up a 700 gold shutdown there. But honestly, like, it's still not going to matter with them being 12k gold up.
And again, to my point earlier, this is the devs' specialty. Rushing Baron soon after Baron spawns with minimal teammates. They love to do
I'd
it,
like to point out
especially
Red
on
Ranger is
Diana.
not hitting the Baron. Oh wait, no, I think they're actually just waiting for Vladimir to... Okay, well played.
Well played by
I
the
wasn't
devs.
looking. I wasn't looking at timers. See, this is why Red Ranger's the 80 carry, and I'm just a support player. Okay, I'm not allowed to think about the game. This is why I stick to
And
Yumi.
you have to wonder if they're going to continue to give objectives or continually lose the fights from the large AoE damage on the side of the devs.
Mhm.
How are the Mug Maniacs planning to get back into this game?
Um. uh.
If at all.
Probably by thinking about draft way better for next game. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think they're getting back into this game. I mean, look at the composition that devs have. If you're thinking about the players individually, what champions come to mind when you look at DV for VP? Shen does.
Shen,
Ornn,
absolutely.
Maokai, like the tanks. Giuseppe Hack, the Echo one trick, obviously. Like Red Ranger and Venom, Misfortune Thresh. It's their like signature champions. Like, I just don't understand how
Ornn
this
getting,
draft...
again, just absolutely dismantled by these Shen autos and the echo damage. He will fall.
Yeah.
That is 0-9 now for the Ornn.
And one more and he hits his power spike, so I think we're looking good here for the Mug Maniacs, honestly. I feel like
Vladimir?
this game might actually be a blessing in disguise for Mug Maniacs. They're losing so hard here that you ever have those games where you just like lose so hard that it's like not actually all that tilting because it's just like whatever. I feel like this could
Absolutely.
be the case for them.
Wow. Absolute one shot coming through the Draven. The Shadow will drop on top of him. He's going to taunt through on the other two. He's going to put the W down and block the autos. Vladimir still really, really tanky. Is he going to be able to survive here? Gets a red Q off in a pool. He's back to half HP. He's going to look for the Cinder while the Shen tanks the Ornn. Ornn is not going to find Vladimir. Ornn's going to have to flash away. Vladimir's still alive.
Syndra EQ didn't find Vladimir either. The man has some no hitbox, but yeah, I mean, this game was just a stomp from the devs. I mean, really showing why Group B is better after all.
Really
surely.
well played gang timers. GGs are being dropped in the chat. Really clean gameplay from the devs overall.
Yep, and I hope to see more of that because even though it was one-sided, it was fun to see the team like the devs play so coordinated. Always enjoy seeing teams just cleanly close things out instead of giving 5 shutdowns in a row and potentially throwing the game. So yeah, I think Mug Maniacs needs to put a lot more thought into the draft that they're going into game 2, but I don't think that this series is by any means out of their hands yet.
Absolutely. And also, even when they were down gold already, still just some questionable decisions from Maniacs.
Hmm.
Taking trades without vision in the river, taking trades when down levels. Um, Perhaps they can do some more tracking on Giuseppe Hack next game. I think Giuseppe Hack really, really shined that game and perhaps showed why he does not get Echo very often.
Yeah, and I, man, if I'm Mug Maniacs, I just want to see Echo, Thresh, and Shen get banned every game. I mean, there's no point in letting it through. I don't actually think Red Ranger will be able to punish Mug Maniacs very much if he doesn't have Thresh with him in the bot lane. So I mean, you don't necessarily need to ban Misfortune, but um, yeah, I feel like this draft was just borderline disrespectful against the devs. All right, and with that, guys, we are going to head to a short break before game 2. See you then.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hello,
We are
hello.
now in Draft Wall for Game 2. Mug Maniacs, of course, are opting for blue side.
Yep. And that's not all that surprising for me. A lot of a lot of the reason that blue side is so heavily prioritized in this meta is that the AD carry meta is quite diverse, but also really strong. And Mug Maniacs playing through their bot side, it makes a lot of sense for them to have blue side just so they can first pick whatever bot laner they want. Ban's coming out very rapidly again. They do adjust to the Echo ban this time around, but man, I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think Venom getting his Thresh and David
And
potentially getting his Shen again this
yeah,
game.
if David does opt for Shen, how will Mug Maniacs possibly differ in respecting his ultimate when it is off cooldown?
We will have to see. Thresh being covered R1 here probably will just be locked in. Can't imagine that it won't be. Um,
And it
yep.
is.
Curious
Red
what we'll see
now.
here in response to the MF from the bot lane, though. They might also just pick their jungler here, but I could see it being like a Kaisa here, or Tristana. That
Tristana.
works too. Just something to go in with the Thresh if he engages.
Not sure if that's a flex pick or not, but to my recollection, not sure if Eddie OD or Red Ranger have played Tristana at all in all Liga games.
I don't think they have. I'm not a huge fan personally of Tristana over Kaisa right now. I feel like Tristana's problem is that her engages, unlike Kaisa, aren't very flexible. Um, Kaisa, when she goes in, has options for repositioning with her E and just can throw out a lot of burst, whereas Tristana, once she hops in, she doesn't really have any option to get out, and if she gets exhausted after hopping in, she sort of just becomes this useless thing that's jumped into your team, so Morgana, a good response here with the Malzahar. I mean, just looking to lock down the Tristana. Um, Morgana is also a really intelligent pick here because the one way that Misfortune ult um, can be like forcibly canceled by the devs is through CC. And if you throw the Black Shield on top of Misfortune while she's ulting, it's pretty much impossible to stop her unless you kill her. So, smart pick there from Mug Maniacs.
Absolutely. We'll see now what we are opting to ban for the
Yeah,
devs in the
the devs
second phase.
actually, the devs lock in Vladimir again here. I don't know if I like Vladimir this time around, just because Malzahar again will have push into him, but we'll see. Addy kind of smurfed last game, so maybe it won't matter. Shenban coming out here, good call from Mug Maniacs not to let their bot lane play 3v2 every fight, or
Absolutely.
2v3.
I do like the response picks better from Mug Maniacs already. We'll see if they continue to draft differently if the devs draft similarly, but Echo is banned this time around. So very interested to see what Giuseppe is going to pick here. I would imagine they pick their jungler first, but we will see.
Yeah, it'll probably be one of. I mean, yeah, it'll probably be the jungler here. I don't know. There's also a world where maybe Giuseppe Hack just wants to have like a good jungle matchup, but I don't know many junglers in this league that actually care that much about it. So, yep, Kindred
Kindred.
is being locked in here. Um, I'm not sure if I like the Kindred. Again, it's just too easy to lock down, I think, and Mumu being hovered here is a very, very good response to
Yes,
Ev's composition.
especially with setup for the Misfortune. If she is
Yeah.
black shielded as well. Really good team fighting response from Mug Maniacs this game.
Yep, and Devs lock in Zac as the last pick here as a response to Jax. I'm not sure. I mean, I've really not observed this matchup very much, so I'm not sure who it favors. Maybe you'll have more insight, but I think it's just a lane that goes fine for Jax, and then he becomes a split pushing threat, but Zac will just threaten to join team fights and win them later.
Yeah, so much dog opting for the Jax blind, knowing a lot of David's picks can be auto oriented. But Zach is going to be picked by DV for VP. I'm interested to see how this lane plays out, and whether or not there will be a lot of jungle attention towards topside.
Yep, and I'm liking both of these compositions. Um, a little bit more from the Mug Maniacs side. Last game it was just, I mean, there were so many comfort picks on the devs team game one that it was sort of hard to like pinpoint if it was like a team cohesion or like just matchup knowledge issue. So this game should be a better indicator of how well Mug Maniacs can perform against the devs, I think.
Yeah. And I have to wonder if the devs were expecting an Amumu pick to come through at all. This Kindred could absolutely nullify the Malzahar ult and the MF Amumu combos from Mug Maniacs.
Well, unless she's the one being Malzahar ulted, but yeah. All right, and with that, we are going to head to a pause. There will be a 3-minute spectator delay, so this one will be a little bit longer. We will be back, though, when the game is ready.
All right. And I, Push an LP, am back with the almighty, all-powerful TSM Ed Sheeran to bring to you
Hold
Game
up,
2.
who is TSM Ed Sheeran, bud?
The Summoner's Rift.
I'm Alturas now, just so you know.
Ah,
Oh, we see a
30
little bit of bush
seconds
cheese. We saw this in
until
game 1. It worked out really well.
yeah. Malzahar having the
But
spell shield. Looks like they're just going to drop a ward and walk away here.
yeah,
But in the
let's.
meantime, Mug Maniac bot lane also able to drop a ward.
Yep,
That
and I don't think that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think they're aware of it so far. So good vision coverage there by blue side. Dark Juice walking into the bush here, finding DV for VP.
minions have spawned.
he's
Takes a
not going to
little
be
bit of
able
an early
to
trade.
get the ward in time, but he is going to cancel Mumu's recall. Mumu is going to
Yeah.
start blue side now.
Yep. And Amumu won't be able to regen fully in time, so actually will just start a little bit weaker than he otherwise normally would, about 50 health down from full health right now. So I don't know how much that'll mean, but maybe it affects his full clear if he tries to go for it.
And we are going to see Kindred start solo with Zach looking to get level 2 advantage on the wave over Jax, which is going to be huge, actually.
One thing I'd like to point out this game is that Venom actually went Aftershock, which I believe doesn't actually proc if you hook someone that's black shielded. So
Did he go after shock?
yeah, he's on Aftershock right now.
Oh. He's on Grasp, I believe. Oh, you said Venom. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
Venom
Venom.
on
Not, not,
Aftershock.
not, not
Yes.
the Zac, not the Zac.
Yes,
Yeah.
excuse me.
The Thresh has Aftershock, which doesn't proc if the victim of the death sentence is black shielded before it lands. And so I wonder why. Well, as
Look,
I
it's
say that,
gonna
it
hit
doesn't
while
really
Morgana
matter
is
if you
level
just.
1, instantly exhausted on Tristana. Tristana is going to... Oh, first blood on Tristana. Is the jump out
Wow,
going to
he
make
gets
it?
out.
Oh my god, Tristana is out. The flash forward from
Oh,
MF is going to trade. That is
yeah.
going to be exhaust blown, but the trade for cleanse.
Yeah, and I think there's actually a world there where the Tristana lives if she doesn't hesitate on that flash play or on the second jump into the tower a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it was fine. He got, I mean, some sort of traded with the enemy AD carries, so it's not all that bad for him. He will, however, miss about a full wave of XP and gold here.
Meanwhile, Zach out trading this Jax does have the level lead. Jax is now just going to hit level 3. DV looking to potentially get this wave in and head towards the crab.
Yep, and lethal tempo on the Jax here. I don't know if that's actually what he wants in this matchup. I could be wrong, but I feel like there's just, I mean, maybe Conquer or even Grasp, I feel like would be better just intuitively, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a Yumi player. I don't think about
And
things.
a lot of that top lane can just be a result of matchup knowledge. If you're not sure what to do, resort to the default page, and that would be lethal tempo. So
Yeah, and somebody's mentioning Conquer Vlad. We actually saw this in the last game as well. It worked out really nicely for Adiodi. Obviously, doesn't get much of a chance to stack it early in the game, but provides a lot of extra damage
flash forward here from Jax, but
later in the game.
Zach has passive.
Yeah, that.
So he's gonna trade flash for flash, but Zach is still alive here.
Yeah, blue side on a ward here in the bot lane, but they don't know it. So this is just going to be a lot of wasted time here for not much.
Zach jumping in
at
here is
all.
gonna get the Q off.
Oh!
Oh, very close actually. DV getting the
Yeah.
grass proc to finish off the Jax.
Yeah, and that was a result of Jax actually having to use Ignite in that earlier trade before his Zac passive went off. So, I mean, he comes back to lane, he knows that Jax doesn't have Ignite, so he's just down health and takes the fight all the way to the end there.
And Jax opting for Ignite doesn't have TP to come back to this wave in time. He is going to lose some XP.
Yep, he's going to lose about a wave total here of XP. I mean, I think there's a cannon minion under the tower earlier, so not a whole lot lost, but I mean, it's not what you want to see out of Jax early game in this matchup.
And already a 14 CS advantage for the Vladimir early, which I think is not what you want to see if you're Mug Maniacs.
Yeah, and this is the exact same thing that we saw last game. I mean, even despite having the objectively weaker rune, I think for just early trading, he's still managing to get a huge farm lead in this mid lane, and it's just paying off super well for his team.
The Q is going to miss for Zach, and that is going to lead to extended trade still going even, actually.
Yeah. And this is where I almost wish that I really do wish that the Jax just had Grasp or Conqueror here. I feel like he'd be way better off with it. I don't
The
see
stun
what
is going to
value.
hit for Jax, but Zach is level
Ooh.
6, excuse
He
me.
hit
He's going to be
6 in
able
the
to
middle
finish
of that, I
off.
believe.
Yeah. And again, that being a result of the Jax not having TP and being down in XP, perhaps getting caught off guard by that level 6.
No, actually, correction. I believe Zach was actually 6 that whole fight, because he's about to hit 7 here. So actually, that I think was just like, I don't know. Maybe so much dog wasn't thinking about the Zach having ult, but yeah, it's just another bad trade for him, and he loses another wave of XP and gold here.
Yeah, and Zach went ahead. Is really, especially with a good rune page, is able to abuse enemy top laners. From behind, not really a strong pick, but already a huge lead here for the Zach.
Yeah, and I mean, Jax is one of the champions that if he gets behind, he tends to be really useless in the game. He has very little utility out of being able to like hop in with a stun, but I mean, if you're looking in team fights, even if they're completely even, the Zac tends to be more useful, let alone if he's ahead. So, um, really well played to DV for VP so far, just getting himself a lead, and I mean, all eyes are going to be on him to translate that lead to mid game fights, but I mean, it doesn't seem to be a problem for him. So
Dragon going to be grabbed by Mug Maniacs. Bot lane will head back down to catch the wave, and a Mumu will recall. It does allow for Kindred to get an uncontested mark on the topside grab.
yep, and early marks really good for Kindred here. She doesn't get very many before they start spawning on the enemy side of the map or major objectives, so he'll take whatever he can get here. I don't think he'll actually be able to get this blue buff in time.
Oh,
Mumu has
Thresh with
shown
a great hook onto the Morgana. She is going to Black Shield the Flay, so she'll be able to walk away.
Yep. Meanwhile, topside, Kindred actually did smite the blue buff, and Amumu was forced to flash. So, I mean, this can't feel good for Amumu here. He's actually going to get chased down. Might end up dying here.
If this
Kindred
Kindred
commits the
proc goes off,
flash. Does manage to get the kill.
wow. Kindred barely in range to get her E off there, and the slow at the beginning of her E, still able to catch the Mumu after his flash.
Yep, and I mean, that's just a heartbreaker for Amumu. He loses the blue to the smite, and then he has to flash out and still dies anyways. Like, this top side is such a huge problem for Mug Maniacs in the series because they are just winning, and they are winning in a very dominant fashion in the early game, and it's just making it impossible for Dart Juice to be able to do anything
Jack's
meaningful.
walking forward here to try and stop the Kindred, but he has no support from his jungler or his mid laner. He's going to have to walk away.
Yeah. Red Ranger being interrupted here, so it is a small win for Mug Maniac's bot lane as they deny the recall, but I mean, getting the Herald here is going to be far more important for them as they look to
And
probably just send it top or mid here.
yeah, and Jack's still looking for Kindred.
Let's
Vladimir's
Ignite!
gonna have first response. Kindred ult coming through.
Yeah, but Jax actually is able to pick up the kill here.
Yeah,
Not enough
Vladimir
damage
ult
from the
coming
Vladimir
through.
yet.
We'll see if Jax is able to jump away. Flash coming through from Vladimir. He is gonna be able to finish off.
Yep. Meanwhile, bot side, we saw a great 3-man dive. Donnie just pressing ult on the enemy AD carry, and well, he can't do anything. So they do get themselves a kill and a couple of turret plates here, but yeah, this game's gonna turn into a race between top and bot side this game. You see Venom stepping up, but he can't really do anything just yet. Mumu is waiting in the bushes here, so it might be enough to catch them off guard.
Thresh is also still level 5.
Yep, Red
Moon
Ranger
ult coming
goes
through.
in.
Tristana gonna fall almost instantly.
Yep, but they managed to clear the bot side out of Mug Maniac, so I mean, Amumu was just left to his own self, and well, he can't do much to Kindred.
Yeah,
And
not gonna end up being worth really for the blue side, but they do get a kill.
um, Yeah, I mean, if you look at the whole trade that happened bot side, they started out with a kill and then they got one more, so it's really 3 for 2 in the favor of devs in terms of kills, but they did get like 3 turret plates, so I think the gold count is actually like quite even from that trade overall. But
Meanwhile, Zach flashing to try and catch out the Malzahar, knowing he has no R, but he is going to flash away, and that's going to be traded flash for flash with the Zach and the Malzahar.
yep. This does set up the Mug Maniacs bot lane to threaten getting that first tower gold now, though. Now, I believe in the meantime that Kindred actually... no, she hasn't used Rift Herald yet. Zach did get a couple tower plates, but I wasn't sure if that was because of Kindred or not. She does still have the Eye of the Herald on her trinket, so they can always use to look for the top lane
Thresh
tower
looking
with
for a
that.
hook here. It is just going to fall short on the MF.
Yep. And well, you know what I think the problem is? I think there's no X-ray in the top lane this game. I think that's
Yeah,
why it's so one-sided
blind
this time
picking
around.
Jax, not really something Jax is known for. Of course, some really early fights, some really early fights in the first 5 minutes in the top side. Looks like we do have a little bit of a 2v2 going on here. Zach is kind of low, but he is going to jump away.
Ooh.
He's going to get Malzahar ulted on spot. He does have passive, but Kindred also dropping the ultimate, and Vladimir rotating over.
Meanwhile, on the bot side, Ranger just gonna get blown up. Dark Juice lands the bandage toss into the Curse of the Sad Mummy, but the Dark Binding misses, as does the bullet time, so Venom is going to be out of that fight in the end. Just one free kill in the bot lane.
Really good response from Mug Maniacs, knowing that Kindred was topside, and no kills resulting from the topside fight.
Oh!
It's Jax actually getting a huge shutdown here, and meanwhile, Dragon is still going to be taken by Mug Maniacs in response to Kindred being in that topside fight, and Herald also being dropped to mid. A lot of action here.
Yeah, we're getting action in all 3 lanes. There's no breaks in this game, and I'm loving it.
We are going to see the gold lead for the devs diminish a little bit. Only really what is that, a 3K gold lead now?
3K gold lead, but I mean, it's nothing to scoff at. It's definitely, I mean, if your devs are happy with this lead because I mean, they probably have the better scaling teamfight team. Well, maybe not. It kind of depends. Amumu and Malzahar are already strong, but Vladimir gets way more damage later, as does the Kindred, so
Yeah,
technically they're
absolutely.
not stronger in team fights just because of utility, but they will scale to the point where their damage becomes very scary, and Mug Maniacs will have to position much better throughout the game in order to deal with that.
Yeah, definitely a much better response for team fighting composition for Mug Maniacs this game.
Yep, so much dog gets pulled here, but it's actually exactly what he wants as Amumu is here. Manages to land.
He's gonna jump away. We'll see if the bandage toss comes through. It falls short. Zach is able to jump away, and that is going to be ultimate used by Jax.
Yeah, and I feel like that was a little bit of a slow reaction from the Amumu there. I don't see any reason why they just let Zach, I mean, E out there. It takes a while for Z to charge up that far, and I mean, Amumu can still intercept him while he's midair, I believe, and go all the way to him, even if he keeps going, so...
Amumu sneaking into the bush here. I don't think Zach has vision. He might continue to go forward. Will the bandage toss come through? It misses, and the Zach ult comes through. He's healing, but will it be enough? No, it won't. Amumu will take a tower shot, and Jax is able to leap in for the finish. Vladimir coming topside. They will have to not take a bad recall here and keep walking away.
Yeah, and to so much Dog's credit, he's found a way back into this game. I mean, that was practically a solo kill before the Amumu even walked out of the bush, and yeah, he's just finding good trades now against the Sack, which, I mean, I guess Jack should be doing, but it's one thing to do it while you're even, it's a completely separate thing to do it while you're behind, and Venom does go for the death sentence, misses it just barely. Dark Binding does land onto Tristana, which is probably going to stop the gank from happening.
Yeah, and MFE going to be dropped on to the Kindred here. He's going to slow her down, and the gank will not succeed.
Yep. Adiodi picking up first turret gold just for himself. Pretty good gold allocation for him, just because, I mean, he's already got a huge gold lead, sitting 20 farm over the Malzahar and a kill. But this is just going to push him further ahead. We've
And
got
this is going to be Maniacs starting the Herald here.
yeah, but
Looking like a 3v3 could potentially break out here.
potentially TV for VP. Can't really get onto Donnie though. It is just gonna be Rift Herald over to Mug Maniacs here.
Oh, an
Donnie actually
instant
commits
Malzahar
to
onto the Zac. Zac is going to
Yeah.
flash away, but he is going to get ulted. Kindred's going to drop R.
Yeah, and
Zac
that
is going to fall without passive up. Vladimir is going to go back in. Jax tries to flash out, but is still killed by the Vladimir. Vladimir is going to walk away with his life.
Oof. Yeah, every time a fight breaks out on one side of the map, it's just breaking out on the other. I think Asteria's done a good job of recognizing, hey, there's 6-7 people fighting in the top side. Let's just take a 2v2 because we're better. And, I mean, it's working for them. They
Yeah,
get
and-
the double kill in this 2v2 bot side, and, well, blue side, Mug Maniacs is going to find themselves multiple towers here.
Yeah, really good Herald drop here. Vladimir, the only one on the map right now. And so Herald mid is going to come through, while also bot lane is going to hit the bot turret. MF doing a lot of damage to turrets. They are going to find 2 turrets in that sequence and a lot of damage on the tier 2 in the mid lane.
Yep, and somebody was asking how many kindred marks there are. There are 6 kindred marks on her at the moment, which is, I think it's okay at this stage of the game. I think it's fine.
Yeah, with the amount of fighting we've been seeing,
Yeah.
I'd say that's a completely fine number.
Yeah, I don't think he's gone into the enemy jungle too much to grab some of these stacks, but I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
how frequently
if
the
I
kindred
do,
marks come up in the jungle.
If I do remember correctly, it's only 3 or 4 marks needed for the initial upgrade.
Yes.
So Kindred may have 2 in total. MF is going to dodge the Zaki. Malzahar Holt dropped onto the Tristana. The MF is out of position though. She's going to fall over to the Zac.
Yep, and good looks from the devs there to find themselves that kill. Shutdown going
Good
over
block
to
shield.
Zac.
The Dark Binding will not find the Thresh. Zac will jump in.
Yeah, but I don't know
Heal
that he
onto the
wants this
Morgana.
actually. His
He
team's not
does
quite able to
have
help him.
passive. He is
Yeah,
alive for
but
the
Red
moment.
Ranger's
Vladimir
low.
doing a lot of damage. Tristana
Wow.
able to somehow make it out. Jax does not find the kill. He's now in a bad position. Thresh taking a lot of damage. He is going to fall. We'll see if Vladimir is able to clean up. Malzahar is going to fall to the Kindred. Ult away from Tristana. Jax is going to fall. And somehow Tristana is alive through that entire sequence. And now the devs will look for the dragon.
Are you enjoying shoutcasting these fights, or there's just like 3 different places where things are going on at once? It's really good for keeping track of everyone. Yeah.
I'm trying my best here. MFO is going to steal the dragon. Oh my! No
And that's gonna put them on
Kindred.
Soul Point, by the way.
No
17 minutes
Kindred
in this
there
game.
for the smite. Wow, a really heads up play by Asteria there to realize Kindred not there for the dragon. And as you said, they're on Soul Point.
Yep, and it is an Ocean Soul this game, so I mean, especially into like Vladimir, Ocean Soul is perfect because the one thing that Vladimir has over most champions is his ability to sustain in these fights and just be a crazy drain tank. But, or I mean, if you've got Ocean Soul, it tends to not matter as much because your whole team will be healing just as much as he is. So, well played by Asteria there, and I
Looks
think
like we will just see some casual farming here. Jax is going to look for a trade onto Zac. Kindred is topside. Zac is perhaps baiting this out. Jax getting hit by the Zaki here. He's going to get into a 1v2 situation.
2v2
We're going to
now
get a
with the
TP from a
teleport.
Lord.
Giuseppe Hack blowing the ult a little early. I don't think he. Oh,
Jax,
actually does find
Jax
the
is
kill.
going to fall. Kindred Triumph is
Wow.
going to come through. He's going to be able to live. Zac is going to clean up Malzahar here. And this is going to be a 2 for 0.
Yeah, but look mid lane. In the meanwhile, they've just cracked the tier 2 mid, and they might continue looking for this fight here.
Oh,
Asteria
Moo ult is dropped.
forced to
Thresh
the wrong
is
side.
stopwatch from Morgana. Zac is now in the fight though. Thresh gonna fall, but so is Morgana. Amumu most likely going to get cleaned up here, but Tristana jumps out.
Yeah, and you know, on the right side of that fight, Asteria just almost getting away with murder there. I mean, I didn't quite see how he managed to finish off the Vladimir, but I did see his health bar was pretty low as he was walking over that way, so Well played to him to get that kill. And
Yeah.
that is going to be a shutdown over to him, I believe.
Yeah, their mid turret is going to fall, but that is not only is that a shutdown, but that is taking half the stacks off of the Dark Seal of Vladimir.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Yep, I just went back and looked as well. It's a 650 gold shutdown over to the Misfortune. Money right where you want it to be for Mug Maniacs this game. And
Gold
they're doing
lead
well to keep the
still
gold
hovering
lead close.
around 3,000 gold.
Yep.
Baron has spawned. Mug Maniacs looking to push out mid lane.
Looking to push out mid lane, potentially threaten this Baron here, as they know that the devs having to walk into them is usually not good for the devs.
Instant Malzahar ult here onto the Zag.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
not
think
going to
he wants
do
that.
a crazy amount of damage. And Misfortune is going to be caught out.
Yep. And
That's going to flash in for the R onto
Turtle
Morgana.
just tanking Red Ranger's autos here. Actually, he hops
Really,
straight into
really
the Jax.
great Amumu ult there.
Oh.
Thresh is also going to fall. We'll see if they can get the Vladimir. His healing is going crazy right now.
Red Ranger, man!
Oh, wow.
He can't be jumping like that. He's got the tactical Malphite ult. He's using Tristana W like a Malphite ult, just jumps into the Jax there. And, I mean, that fight looked winnable for them up until that moment.
It did. I think possibly a Mumu ult kind of swinging things for that fight there onto 3 people.
Yeah. And it shouldn't have been on the 3 people. It was only on the 3 people because Tristana jumped in.
Absolutely, yeah. This is going to be Baron picked up for blue side, and it is going to be on all 5 members.
Yep, and now with Mug Maniacs having a lead in gold for the first time this game, I believe, since like the first minute mark or so.
Possibly first time in the series, as they were down instantly in
Yeah,
the last
definitely
game.
the first time this series. It was much worse for them after the invade in the first game. But yeah, this is
Jax is going to get the tier 1.
he actually wins this fight though.
He did
Well-
ignite early to reduce the healing.
Yeah, he's got Conquer and ult stacked up now, so he can actually take this fight. Well, okay, never mind. He stepped back into the range for one more minion Q stun. I don't know. I feel like there's a world where that's winnable. I feel like So Much Dog maybe hesitated a little too much in that fight.
Yeah, also jumping out onto a ward there instead of fully committing to the fight. Wondering if any impact or how much it would have had in winning that fight.
Yep, and Mug Maniacs starting up the dragon here, but actually with them being down the Jax, it's going to be a 4v5 for them, so I don't know that this fight will go
Easy
super
for
well for them.
VP is coming in.
Oh, huge curse.
He's gonna find the MF with this Q.
What is happening?
So much. Kindred's still alive. She's getting ticked down. She's gonna have to drop her R. Zac is still alive and still does have passive. Takes the Amumu off the Kindred. The Kindred is gonna survive through her Triumph proc. Morgana trying to steal the dragon. It will not happen. Smite will be used by the Kindred to secure the dragon. And Soul will not be taken by Mug Maniacs.
Yeah, I gotta give credit to the devs. They've had more than 1 kill a minute in both of these games now.
Will Zac fall to the Morgana passive
Oh my
burn here?
goodness.
He will not. Wow.
I feel kind of bad because I don't know quite where to stop casting, so you can start casting because these fights last for a minute and a half, and then you're just not sure if they keep going
There's
or not.
so many abilities used at once. My mouth is not fast enough. I will have to be Eminem in order to keep up with these fights.
I'll do it for you.
Perhaps we could get some Ed Sheeran tunes here.
You know, Ed, do you think has Ed Sheeran ever rapped before?
Oh, actually, I think he has.
Probably has.
Ed Sheeran is. I'm not sure
Like
how
every
much.
white guy's, every white
Every
singer's
white
dream
guy's
to
dream.
rap at some point.
I'm not sure how much you listen to UK rap music, but Ed Sheeran actually has made a few appearances. But then again, I'm not sure how much rap he actually is doing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Positioning topside here for Mug Maniacs.
Oh man, this game. I mean, the one thing I'd like to point out is that with the the devs getting that dragon there, they are stalling the Ocean Soul from being picked up here by Mug Maniacs, so they keep themselves alive in this game for a little bit longer. The gold now being about dead even between these teams, just a couple hundred difference.
Yes.
But man, it is.
And if they're not able to complete the soul, the idea of stacking Ocean Souls on Vladimir and Zach is
Oh yeah,
very,
that's
very, very
terrifying.
scary.
And Kindred too.
Yeah.
Whew.
We
Well,
will see a blue buff trying to be denied from Kindred, but she will smite it away.
yep, and it's fine to smite there. There's no objectives coming up for any.
Oh, Vladimir finding an angle here onto Malzahar. The ult being dropped, flash being used from Malzahar. He will walk away with his life.
Yep, walks away with his life, but he needs to be a little bit careful about walking back up into this vision here that the devs have. But as I say that, ADOD actually getting a little bit
being
caught
dropped
here.
by the Jax.
Are
He's
finding
gonna have to
use.
W for the Dark Mind.
Oh,
The
Moo.
Amumu Q follows. Oh,
Okay,
the
good ult by
people.
Kindred though. Good ult by Kindred to
Amumu
save her
also
whole team
being
there.
saved by the Kindred ult. Vladimir is gonna fall. Thrush is also gonna fall. Jax is here to clean up with his ultimate. Malzahar's gonna be jumping with Tristana, but he will not have enough damage, I think, to actually kill the Tristana. Malzahar's gonna fall. Kindred's gonna live through Triumph Rock again. No, she will fall to the burn. Malzahar's damage really popping off here. Zach's gonna fall onto the MFC. Actually kills the Tristana.
Yeah, so fight breaks out, and in the end, it's just DV for VP left on the map. So we've got about 45 seconds of taking a break from trying to shoutcast these. But man, that looked so good for the side of Mug Maniacs there at the
Wow,
start. The bandage toss from Amumu actually following into the entirety of the devs. But
I have to imagine
great ult from Kindred there saves his entire team from the bullet time from the just like the Jackson, the Malzahar AoE as well, and as well as the Morgana pool, and it just, man, that was an
I have
MVP
to
ult right there
imagine if
from Giuseppe Hack.
I have to imagine if that was part of the draft strategy. I know Giuseppe Hack has been picking up Kindred and solo queue more and more. And I have to also imagine that bandage toss interaction was not intended, but oh man, it went so hard in that fight.
Yeah, that was whew. I mean, wow,
This is all you can ask for. This is some serious La Liga action here.
Yeah, if they didn't have a Kindred, that probably is just a clean ace from Mug Maniacs.
100%.
They are posturing now. The Ocean Soul Dragon is about to be back up in a little bit under a minute now.
Yeah,
Baron
also we are
coming up though.
Pretty much dead even in gold.
Yeah, dead even in gold. I mean, critically though, devs have picked up some items for themselves from like the last back, so they've hit a little bit of a spike here. Gonna be interesting for them.
Jax is split pushing bot side, but remember has opted for Ignite and no TP.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder if that could influence the devs to look for a fight angle here.
I almost wonder if the Mug Maniacs then try to bait out a Baron fight and then just have Jax go for the Ocean Soul. And it looks exactly like what they're going to try and do here.
But Vladimir also opting for Ghost. If he does match, will not TP. They are going to start Baron here. They are bursting it down relatively quick. They do have 2 Leandries.
Yep, and they're actually just going to be able to get the dragon here, or sorry, the Baron here, and get out before.
And Vladimir did opt to follow. There is no fight that's breaking out. Jax is now free to push by himself.
What are the devs doing, man?
There's going to be a TP from Malzahar. They're double committing here.
And a macro
is gonna possibly be a free dragon look for the devs.
Oh dear. Yeah, they just give up the inhibit and the Baron. I mean, they do get the dragon though, so they do stall the Ocean Soul yet again. Maybe that is just what they want.
Going to stop the backs here. We'll see. Possibly if he pays for it with his life. The Malzahar deal
good healing
a lot
though.
of damage.
Yeah, he actually stalls long enough. Locket comes out from Venom.
Malzahar is gonna fall to Vladimir E. Jackson's gonna have to flash out, but he's gonna be followed up by a Tristana and a Vladimir. Bullet time does come out. No lethal damage. This is... wow. In the end,
yeah, I mean,
nothing really...
Technically, Mug Maniacs end up, like... They do better in that, because they get the inhib and they get the Baron, but their advantage technically from that fight is only temporary, whereas the devs end up getting the permanent advantage in the Ocean Dragon. So, I
Yeah,
mean, if
I
they're able to
wonder
stall out the
possibly
Baron,
if they could have sent Jax topside to take the only tier 2 left on the map and postured bot side, as I would imagine they really want Soul.
yeah, I would think so too. But I mean, I don't know. It feels like it just got a little bit like disconnected after they took Baron because I feel like some of them were resetting to just try and get back to Baron, but then one of them committed TP for the inhibitor, and it just like I feel at that point they just sort of got a little bit lost in what to do. But um, yeah, I do think that the
Jax
better
going
play for them.
pretty deep here for the Zac. His team
Yeah,
is
he'll be
rotating,
fine. He'll be
but he is
fine.
going to jump away because Jax's E is down and they have no CC. Kindred going to dodge,
Yep,
and nothing
and
will result.
we've got 10 players up here on the top side. A fight, if it breaks out, could determine who wins the game. So devs
I think
intelligently just backing off.
10 people on the top side still possibly beneficial for Mug Maniacs, as they do
Yep.
have 2 super minions bot lane. It's going to allow them to get this last tier 2.
Yep. Baron Baron buff will last about 30 more seconds here for Mug Maniacs, so they will get one more wave coming up this top lane where they will have Baron. They are just looking to siege this inhib tower though. Actually give up the wave entirely just to make sure that they can get back. They're actually looking to choose for a bush play here. I don't think it'll work
Well,
out for them though.
they know it isn't warded, but you would have to imagine the devs will be very careful about approaching. Zac is going to E in on the Jax here. Actually, red team rotating quicker than Mugmaniacs here.
Oh.
Jax being pushed back in to the enemy team. Oh, the Tristana will fall! Oh my goodness.
Poor guy is just being bullied by
That
the Jax.
is
Vladimir
Divine
getting
Sunder
very low here.
coming
They
at
actually,
you.
they actually commit onto the Vladimir and get him though. This is now a 4v3 in the favor of Mug Maniacs here.
It is a
They
nice
will
trade
track the
for
mid inhib.
Mugmaniacs. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're now going to have 2 inhibs here. And at least the mid inhib now will be down for the next dragon spawn, I believe.
Yeah, but they need to actually be able to. Now that they have 2 inhibitors, they actually need to be able to get this dragon here. Otherwise, they are just handing over free gold and experience to the devs because they're not going to be able to just force their way into their base at this point.
Man, that Jax damage looked absolutely absurd.
Yeah, I mean, Red Ranger, he went from 80% to 10% and then dead in the blink of an eye. It was just, yeah, it is late game Jax at this point, so you have to be very careful as an AD carry what you're doing. You have to be very deliberate in your positioning, and I think Red Ranger, after he ulted the Jax away, got a little bit lazy and didn't think about the possibility of Jax turning back on him, but it ends up happening and costs him his life in the 1-for-1.
Yeah, and meanwhile, MF sitting on 4 items while Tristana is sitting on 3 plus the QSS, probably to stop the Malzahar ult. And the BF sword in Misfortune's inventory for Asteria, I would have to imagine, is possibly going towards a Guardian Angel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense, just because if Guardian Angel procs for anyone this game, they probably just die after it comes out. I mean, it takes like 2.5 seconds for
Oh,
the
Malzahar
enemy
ult
to
coming in
proc.
with the flash. He's going to instantly be half HP. He's going to be... No, he won't be finished off by the Jack. Kindred ult will drop. Zac is going to be ulting. He will get CC'd though.
Ooh,
Kindred
Mug
ult
Maniacs.
will not save the devs.
Yeah,
There's
Mug
still more
oh.
follow-up coming. Vladimir going in, cleaning up the Morgana. He's going to drop pool. He's going to look for MF,
Oh.
but he will be killed before
Yeah,
his
he,
Zonias can even be used.
he actually stepped into Malzahar Q there by accident in the end, and I think it cost him all of his E damage there, and I think Mug Maniacs may have just won this game here.
Possibly looking to end here. Not sure what the Tristana is probably just going to look for the wave, but she will be
Yeah, it's not
silenced
gonna matter,
by the
though.
Malzahar.
Yep, and
MF,
that's the
2
game
autos plus
for-
Q is dead, and that is going to be game for the side of Mug Maniacs, taking this game back to 1-1 in the series.
Yep. And it's all tied up now. And my channel points are gone again. Yeah, well played by Mug Maniacs though. I think they adapted in the way that I wanted to see them adapt in game 2 in the draft, and they were, I mean, it wasn't a very clean win, let's be honest. They misplayed a lot of fights. They kind of disrespected the Kindred ult in some and the Zac flank in others, but yeah, well played by them to pull out a win anyways and tie the series back up to 1-1.
Absolutely, and much better response from Mug Maniacs this game, playing towards their strengths, playing towards bot side, especially when plays were being made top side for the devs, responding bot lane, and kind of splitting the map into this huge weak side and huge strong side.
Yep. And for the side of devs, I'm hoping to see a return of X-Ray top lane. I do think that Zac was an okay pick, but I think just Ornn makes it a lot harder for the enemy team to team fight just because the Call of the Forge God, I think that's his
Yeah.
ult name, is
Also,
just way
just
more impactful in fights.
really hard for Zach E to have a huge impact in that game. Malzahar shield and Morgana Black shield.
That's
So
true, yeah.
yeah.
All right, so we are going to go to another break before game 3. We will be back when the draft is ready for both teams, probably a minute or two for this break, and then we'll have a longer break after draft before we get into game. So see you guys then.
Do we fight to hold our heads up high and beat the drums to what we love? Risk the fall, or we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkest skies. The champions of the world that we
Welcome back, everybody, to Game 3 of Devs versus Mug Maniacs. That we're getting into draft just now. Draft starting off this time, Game 3 with Devs being on blue side and Mug Maniacs on red side. Malzahar being banned first by the Devs with the Swain response from Mug Maniacs. Both of these teams have come pretty prepared with the ban phase in draft so far, and so yep, we just see these bans
Yep.
getting.
Vayne Samir just as before in the other two games, but MF actually being banned by Mug Maniacs, noticing it has been picked on B1, game 1 and game 2.
Yep, and I expect to see. Actually, with Misfortune being banned, I wonder if the devs just completely swaps up their draft strategy here. Maybe not. Okay.
No,
So
they'll still draft
pick
bot
Jinx.
line B1. Jinx being Red Ranger's most comfortable pick.
Yeah, and I'm shocked it's not like the Shen or anything. I feel like DV for VP is a solid enough laner that he can just blind it into anything and probably at least be fine. I mean, maybe not necessarily winning, but I don't see why they wouldn't want to just pick the Shen here. Caitlyn being
Caitlyn,
locked in here.
yeah, Caitlyn the response. Probably looking to bully the Jinx as much as possible in lane. We'll see what's gonna be paired with the Caitlyn. Might be picked here on R2. It will not. Akali will be taken by Mug Maniacs and also taken away from Adiod in lane.
Yep, and uh we see a Akali being picked up is an interesting one. I feel like it's always a risk to pick it blind because there are some matchups where you can really take advantage of her lack of range early
Yeah.
on, but I mean, I think Akali personally is one of the most disgusting mid lane champs right now. Zillion the response I think is good into Akali. Not the most like threatening or even interesting matchup. But yeah, I mean the
Yeah.
Zillion ult is just so powerful into the Akali.
Of course, we don't know where that is going for sure, but I would also assume that is going to be played mid lane. No, but Victor drafted. So Victor will be mid lane and Zillion will be headed into the support role.
Yeah, and we see yeah, I mean Victor, I don't know. I feel like that's just giving up too much in your draft strategy early on. Victor, I don't like seeing Victor into Akali. I think sure he can lane bully the Akali, but as soon as you get out of laning phase, that Akali becomes a million times more useful. I think we've seen in previous playoffs games. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. And in Worlds games as well, Akali has actually been like super prioritized by mid laners from the LPL and LCK for a good reason. I think the champion just has unmatched pick potential amongst mid laners right now, and
Also,
well, it's one of Donnie's best champions as well.
yeah, Donnie, even when playing topside last season, opting into the Akali a lot. Jax being blind picked again for Mug Maniacs. We'll see if it's responded to again by the devs. Shen ban coming through from Mug Maniacs. That would be a very good thing to ban against the Jax. And Amumu instantly banned by the devs as well. So a lot of the team fighting potential, kind of Wombo being banned out here. Sejuani will be picked up for Mug Maniacs, and that will be headed into the jungle. And we will see, um, Ornn, better known as X-Ray, being picked up by the devs.
Yep, and I like it here. I mean, the one thing that the devs, I mean, with Victor and Jinx, they already have crazy scaling from their backline. Ornn is just one of the strongest tanks in the game at the moment, if not the strongest, so no reason not to pick him. Kindred actually coming out as well. I love it. It's going to make it so hard for Caitlyn and Akali to finish off kills. Not a whole lot of tankiness actually out of Mug Maniacs. I mean, the Sejuani can get tanky, but it's not going to be anything like the Ornn in terms of just raw frontlining capability with the Ornn scaling off his own items.
Yeah,
And yeah, Mug Maniacs has a lot of pick potential here, but the devs have like Kindred and Zillion can just shut down any picks that happen, or at least buy enough time for the rest of them to come into a fight or decide to commit to a different objective. So, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And again, Morgana being picked, but not sure if it's going to hold the same value against this team comp. Zillion, of course, being able to Black Shield both slows and double bombs. Ornn, ultimate, going to be able to be Black Shielded, but not quite the same dive and destruction as Zac and Vladimir.
Yep. But yeah, if Mug Maniacs don't find themselves early leads this game though, it's gonna be hard for them. They don't really outscale the devs at all. I mean, maybe the Akali outscales the Victor's pick potential, but or sorry, in terms of just like 1v1ing or like
They 100%
diving,
outscale in the side lanes,
yeah.
but side lane 1v1 is not going to decide the game, especially in La Liga.
Yeah. With that being said, though, Jinx and Zillion is a very, very weak early game 2v2 bot lane, and yeah, Caitlyn Morgana, obviously one of the stronger ones. So this game's going to be on Asteria and Shrubby Turtle yet again to find themselves a lead. But I mean, honestly, we saw game one that devs can definitely find their way on blue side to winning the bot lane. So I think
Absolutely.
if this series, if it's anything like the previous La Liga games that we've seen the last couple of weeks, and blue side just has a crazy win rate, then this game will likely continue it. But um, yeah, I think I like devs draft here a little bit more, even if they are pretty weak early on.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better.
I think you could. You're a plat player now, okay?
Well, we are headed into the draft in client now. So we are going to head to a short break and we will be back with you. right, pushing LP back here with my co-host Alterus.
What? Okay. Um. Oh, you're you fucked it. I think.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I'm at 30.
3, 2, 1, go. All right. We see a little bit of an invade from Giuseppe Hack
Oh,
by himself
Kindred
here.
walking in here. Oh my! The binding is gonna miss, and the Jax is going to flash after his E runs out. Kindred going to flash away
Yeah.
as well, though. But really poorly executed from Maniacs.
Yeah, I mean, it's
A summoner
probably
has
worse
disconnected.
for Mug Maniacs here just because, well, okay, we see a disconnect come out.
Dart Juice disconnecting. We are going to go into a pause.
Mm-hmm. And it will take however long it takes. So grab your popcorn, um, maybe some water, stay hydrated, posture check, everybody. And, well, how's your day going, Dan?
Pretty solid. I haven't played any solo queue today. I think I'm going to wait for the season to end to guarantee I remain platinum.
At this
um,
rate, I may as well do the same. I've
uh,
officially climbed from Plat 150-ish LP to Plat 40. And yes,
that
I
is
call
a
it
climb
climbed.
and a half. Yeah, so far, these games have been really fun to cast and hopefully fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm sure it's really exciting to watch right about now as we go into a 2-minute long pause. Yeah, I'm that first game, man, or sorry, that second game was just so chaotic. I mean, I hope we see
Yeah,
more of that. I hope it goes to game 5 and we just see that every game.
yeah,
I mean, it's not high
we'll see
quality,
if
but it's entertaining.
the map continues to really get split in half with a gold lead for the Devs top side and a gold lead for the Mug Maniacs bot side.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. For all the viewers out there, discussion Alterus and I had during the break, we agreed that if Mug Maniacs does not have control of this game by the
A
15-minute
summoner
mark,
has reconnected.
it is indeed going to be in favor for the devs.
Yeah, and
And
it's a little
we,
more nuanced than that. I do think that technically, I mean, they've got so much pick potential with the Morgana bindings, with the Sejuani ult. I mean, anything can happen mid game for either of these teams, but generally speaking, as the game goes on, it will be harder for Mug Maniacs to punish any members of the devs that get caught out because they have the Zillion ult and they have the and they have the Kindred ult, and yeah,
yeah,
I don't know.
we'll
The later
see.
this game goes, the better it is for the devs.
We'll see what Mug Maniacs is able to do with their pick potential. But if it looks anything like that level one, well, we might not have much of a game. Dart
Yeah.
Juice is reconnected here. We are going to have an R, and we are back.
Yep. Yeah. Look, 1 extra minute in that pause, and I might have pulled up MS Paint and started drawing with you too. Production and Dan. Oh, yep. And this is, by the way, is a normal thing that happens after pauses. The game catches up a little bit, but it freezes outside of the pause. This is not the stream crashing and dying. It is just the game catching up for a few seconds. We do see though that because the Jax used his flash early on, he's not gonna have it for the first few minutes. There is potential for Kindred to just do a buff to buff clear and then look for the Jax topside and punish him for not having that summoner spell, but we will see.
Nice first strike gold from the Victor onto the Akali here, and Jack's not opting, excuse me, to leash this time. Probably looking to get some level 1 advantage onto the Ornn and control of the wave state.
Yep. Nice little binding there coming out from Shrubby Turtle to equalize the trade a little bit. I do think that this laning phase is going to be really rough for the Zillion and the Jinx, but we'll see. If Venom is able to land enough bombs, it might not be all that bad for them. Meanwhile, we see the junglers keeping pretty close with each other in their pathing. We do see the buff to buff path from Kindred that I talked about, so she is going to be looking potentially to be punishing this Jax.
Jack's actually really getting out traded early here.
Yeah, and Red Ranger actually finding some good auto trades to keep this bot lane a little interesting here. Donnie finding the E, Dark Binding landing bot side in the meantime.
Meanwhile, Kindred looping around topside.
Yep.
Almost looking like a solo bolo for Jax. Or, excuse me, for Ornn. But Kindred is going to follow up here. Will the Ornn fall? No, he won't.
Yep, and that's exactly what I thought was going to happen after we saw that flash come out of Jax. At level 1, man, that is a heartbreaker for Donnie. Flashes but gets done by the gravity field immediately.
Really, really close. And that is going to be both sums used by Akali.
Man, Venom is just on point with these bombs, by the way. Every time the camera is panning down bot lane, he's landed at least one bomb on somebody bot lane, and, well,
Yeah,
it's helping to ease the pressure that Caitlyn and Morgana actually put out in this lane.
yeah, the poke lane actually getting out poked as of this current moment.
Yeah, I mean, Venom's just landing a three-pointer after a three-pointer, and it's paying off for his Jinx early in this game.
Really well done there by the Ornn, executing the unstoppable W. And he's going to look to get this wave in.
Yep, and another pretty good early game from the devs so far, finding advantages early. I think even though they lost last game, they did start with early advantages. I think at one point they were 3 or 4 kills to 1, so they've done a good job of consistently finding good advantages for themselves in the early game across all 3 lanes, but
I agree.
we'll need to make sure that they actually can translate it into something meaningful this game rather than just scrapping until they lose like they did last game. Meanwhile, So Much Dog actually taking a massive trade here. Kindred walks up,
Kindred
won't be able
looking
to find
for
him.
it, won't be able to find it. She will take 2 turret shots, and you have to wonder, that probably is going to prevent them from looking for something else. Meanwhile, a really spicy lane gank from Sejuani here. I do not think the devs have vision on Sejuani.
No, they do not. Yep. Commits the
Flash going to be burned by the Jinx, and that looks like it will be the end of the game.
Yep. Jinx blue flash, guys. It's game over. Oh, good.
Oh, Jack's
What?
jumping back in here, but the E will save him from getting autoed to death.
What
He
was
is going to
that?
have to recall.
What was that Ornn headbutt? It like went halfway. It actually, I think, cost him the kill there. That was a, I don't know if that was a visual bug or not, but man, if I'm David, that doesn't feel good to potentially lose a kill that way.
Yeah, 100%. Jax is going to lose a little bit of XP.
Can we get a
in the
chrono
lane,
break on that?
the wave did group just a tiny bit under tower, so it is actually going to push back out to David.
Yep.
But really unfortunate he couldn't find last little bit of damage there.
Yeah, that headbutt. I think it was just a visual bug.
I hope so.
I don't think so though, because the tower only hit him once. If he actually went all the way into the tower there with aggro, I think he takes a second tower shot there.
Yeah.
That was really dumb.
Relatively even CS here for the mid lane and the bot lane, although top side almost double CS for the Ornn compared to Jax, which is not what you want to see for a bruiser versus a tank this early on.
Yeah, and so far I think that the big problem we're seeing topside is that every time I'm looking at topside, So Much Dog seems to not be using his evasion just to like respond to brittle procs at all.
Yeah,
and so
he's
taking
not
a lot
using
of
it
extra
responsibly.
damage.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so it's just a 20 CS lead at 6 minutes here for the Ornn. Is going to hit 6 very soon, as the Victor already has. Yep, he just hit 6. He won't have teleport for this dragon, but I mean, his team probably won't need it here. The Caitlyn and Morgana are probably just gonna have priority on it anyways. Um, Sejuani, however, is on Krug, so it will be another minute or two before any of these teams look at
Yep.
taking the
So
drag.
yeah, Sejuani headed topside here. Ornn no longer has that pink ward in the river, so he won't be able to see this coming. Sejuani is level 5 though.
I don't think they can actually
Not
get this
sure if they'll
though.
be
He's
able
quite
to finish
tanky.
him here.
That's a good
Jax
splash
does
by
flash.
SpongeBob.
They are going to be able to finish the Ornn.
Yeah.
Really heads up flash from the Jax. Very well done for both of them being level 5 and Ornn being level 6.
Yep. And man, this is just
Meanwhile,
really.
something I think worth to note though is Sejuani with all that time spent bot side on that lane gank.
Ooh.
Oh, big trade here onto the Jinx.
Yeah, and
Um,
I thought that was gonna be bad for Asteria there because he actually like dashed back into the Jinx traps, but is just barely out of the tower range, so he doesn't actually end up taking that tower aggro and just turns into a positive trade for him and Morgana.
yep, the poke lane really starting to take its toll on this Dev's bot side. And what I wanted to point
Mhm.
out with Sejuani's time topside and that lane gank bot, which he's spent so much time in the bot lane, they are still even in CS. I'd like to see the Kindred be up a little bit in farm.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because Sejuani is a tank, but I mean, technically her AoE and wave or her camp clearing is actually really good because she has the Q and the flail. So there's actually like very few camps she struggles on very much, so her camp clearing is pretty good. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, she
Herald will be picked up for Sejuani, and Jax will be back top lane in time to pick up the wave.
ooh
Akali going in here. Flash Q, Ignite.
yeah,
It
and this, oh
will
my
be enough with the
god,
last tick.
I love watching
Really,
Donnie play
really
Akali for that
clean.
reason.
Really clean from Donnie.
Yep.
The Jinx Rocket will miss, but Kindred is going to stop the recall.
Yeah, Kindred's actually probably
Possibly
going to find him here. Yeah, he doesn't actually take the blast cone, but Kindred doesn't.
Sejuani is looping back around. This is a wall Akali can E over pretty easily, and
Yep.
Akali is actually going to walk out with their life.
Yep. And yeah, Donnie has always been really good with the Akali. It's something I've watched him play for years, ever since it got reworked, basically. And I know that he's always been really mechanically talented on the champion. He doesn't get very many opportunities to play it because it's not like, I don't know, there's so many metas where Akali doesn't actually get to do a whole lot and isn't very useful because she is so like feast or famine. But when she
Yeah.
is useful in the meta, like she is right now, I love seeing Donnie play it because it's not something that actually gets banned against him very often, but he can definitely play it.
Absolutely. We see Ornn is up a level on the Jax here, and still a slight CS advantage. That gank did turn things back around for Jax a bit, but not too much, and Mug Maniacs are going to pick up the dragon. So that is first Herald and first dragon over to Mug Maniacs.
Yep, first Herald, first Dragon, and I mean, this is the first time that we've actually seen Mug Maniacs get a significant lead in the early game at all. This series actually, so they're doing a lot better for themselves each game. The question now will be, can they actually push this lead cleanly without?
Trap coming through onto the Jinx.
Yeah,
Big damage from the Caitlyn.
without without this game turning into like into a just clown fiesta. Because I mean,
Oh, Akali is bot lane here. Morgana's
uh,
going to flash out of the tower range.
yeah,
Her ult will stay, but TP coming through the Ornn.
yeah,
Akali
that.
cannot kill. Their bot lane will live, but Caitlyn will flash away. She
Oh
will die to the
no!
Jinx rocket. Oh my
That does count
goodness.
as a caster curse, right? Because I just said that they were doing so good for themselves early, and then they mess up the dive into the Zillion ult.
Oh, Alturas with the caster curse and the only early game advantage for Mugmaniacs will deteriorate as we've seen in 3 games. Victor will be caught out with the Sejuani ult and the Jax jumping on.
Yep,
He will be finished off.
yep, and good response from the Mug Maniacs mid jungle duo or top jungle duo there, picking themselves up the Victor for the second time this game. I mean, this game is gonna be really rough for Victor when he's behind, just because Akali will be able to one-shot him at basically any point in the game,
Yeah,
even
I
before
think
his gravity field can take place. So.
yeah, and I think also just really good recognition by Maniacs that Ornn is really tanky to gank, and Zillion is going to try and nullify any bot lane dives like we just saw. So I think
Mhm.
really good for Maniacs to kind of pick on Victor here early.
Yep, pretty good from them overall. Gold is still basically dead even, one dragon advantage to Maniacs, but honestly it doesn't mean a whole lot at this stage of the game, especially with devs being the more scaling team.
Caitlyn
Good
really out
bombs.
trading here, but does she see the Kindred coming through? I don't think she does. She has no flash. She's gonna fall to the Kindred. Binding will come through. Flash will come forward from the Kindred. Will Morgana be able to live with her, escape with her
Oh,
life?
that just barely
She
misses.
will. Kindred ult will have to be dropped, and they don't get anything for it.
Yeah. Close call there for the Morgana, but she does get out with her life, just barely. If the zap had landed, she probably falls, but yeah, it was actually still well played by Asteria to pick himself up the kill with the ult there.
Absolutely.
But with that being said, Jinx having 3 kills is really not what you want to see. She still has yet to back all the way, and did she walk back to base? What happened there? No, I think she just forgot to buy item. Yeah,
Still no completed item from the Jinx
yeah,
because
which is
of opting for the tier 2
surprising.
boots early.
Victor
Victor again getting
punished
Sejuani
again.
ulted here, and he will be finished off.
Donnie might be in trouble here. Nope, he's going to walk out.
The double bomb is going to miss. Kindred and Ornn. Oh, Ornn coming through. The slow is going to hit onto Akali, but the R2 not coming through. And again, Akali escaping with her life.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and other than that one bot dive where Red Ranger picked up 3 kills because they disrespected the Zillion ult, I mean, Donnie has just played phenomenally on this
Cleanse
Akali
coming
so
through
far.
from Drinks. Zillion ult's going to drop, but the Caitlyn ult
Did you
won't
just say
even
drinks or
kill.
jinx? It sounded like drinks.
I'm
Drinks.
Drinks.
It sounded like
Yeah,
it
but
anyways.
cleanse from the Jinx. Not sure if it was 100% needed.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
no kill being found.
I think the problem there in that fight for the devs was that X-Ray actually missed a ult and onto their Akali who was trying to get out. So uh, we're still looking for the devs to be able to find an advantage this game, and well, the game goes on. I mean, so much dog here on the Jax, taking another trade with the Ornn for about the millionth time this game, but it's not really going to mean a whole lot, as usual.
It will get rougher and rougher for Ornn here in the side lane with these Sheen procs, which will eventually turn into, or it actually currently is a Divine Sunder. Excuse me, Flash coming forward from the Jets,
Oh,
but his E will not be in range. He's very low on mana. No Flash, he is going
oh,
to fall. But the gold goes over to the Ornn. The gold's still pretty decent on Ornn. Not going to matter too
mhm.
much. Not very well executed there from so much dog. And that looks like it's going to be Herald for the devs. But Dragon will be taken by Maniacs on the other side of the map.
Yep, and Maniacs this whole series have actually been the better team at securing themselves the dragon objectives, but hasn't always meant that they've been able to secure the wins. So we'll see. It is nice for them to get a Hextech Dragon and an Infernal Drag this early because it's a lot of extra damage, but or especially on the Akali. But with devs just having better scaling, we're still. I mean, this lead that they have with the objectives doesn't necessarily mean anything yet.
And Kindred opting not to crack top tier 1 tower with the Herald. Saving it, I would guess, for mid lane at some later stage.
Hmm. Yeah, because tower plates are already down, and Maniacs already got first tower in the bot side anyways, so it doesn't really matter when they use it. It's, maybe a matter of how they can use it. If they can get 2 charges off with that, I think at this stage it's better for them.
Yeah. And that
But
is the Platinum 1 analysis versus the Plat 4 analysis for you, ladies and gentlemen.
hey, I'm plat 4 now, okay? I'm one of you. I am no longer a diamond prospect. I am now a platinum parry.
Ornn still with a 20 CS advantage. Jack's jumping in, trying to get these Sheen and Divine Sunder proc trades, but down a level and just still getting out traded.
Yep, and I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of action in this game. I think devs know that they can still win this and outscale, but they have to be careful about playing for the correct advantages, which, by the way, this is game 3 currently, Mug Maniacs, and the devs are 1-1, and sorry, the overlay shows the wrong sides, but Mug Maniacs is currently red side and devs is blue side.
Ornn looking for R here. Kindred's headed back up. Jax is going to drop the ultimate. Nearly a solo bolo from the Ornn, but the gold's going to go over to Kindred here. Really nice play from the devs just after dropping Herald in the mid lane.
Yep, and
yeah.
You know, that near solo kill is exactly why X-Ray put himself in the top 3 for top lane in power rankings. We see
I honestly
popping off again here.
I honestly have no problem with it. I mean, people are going to continue to disrespect Ornn in trades because he's a tank. And, you know, opportunities like that are going to keep occurring. It is what it is.
Yeah, and I still don't understand why teams aren't just blanket banning Ornn. It's such a disgusting free champion in top lane. You can play and make so many mistakes as a top laner with Ornn, and it won't matter.
Anybody in La Liga will tell you nobody hates Ornn more than I do. But I do have to say that it is a really sick skin.
Yeah, it is really cool. And I think for the devs here who have actually found themselves another pick in the top lane, I mean, we actually saw a repeat of this exact same thing in game 2 where the Jax fell quite behind, but he was able to find himself advantages in the split push later on and in the solo kills. So I won't count so much dog out of this yet on the Jax, but he is going to be in a tough position here as he's laning into the Ornn this time and not the Zac as the Jax.
Yeah, absolutely.
Prison being thrown mid doesn't land.
Yeah. Prism not going to find anything. Jinx moving forward here on the Morgana. Will she fall? Jinx not able to find the last auto.
Oh my god! The Jinx are coming through! Asteria tries to flash to save his own support, something you don't see AD carries do very often, but it won't matter. And I have to wonder if Jinx Plus at all played a factor in that.
He won't
Jinx
have
level 10,
he won't
so
have
still,
flash now for the third dragon.
That is huge for the devs. That is possibly the biggest blunder we've seen all series.
I don't think so. I think we've seen bigger. I think well, maybe in
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like the Amumu bandage tossing into 4 people on the Kindred ult and baiting his whole team into losing a fight may have been bigger, but they still won that game technically, so whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think possibly Morgana might have still been up for Dragon, even if she does fall there. Again, Jax opting for Ignite. Ornn has TP, Jax doesn't. His E will be able to come through in time. It's gonna be a 5v4 at this dragon.
Oh, but he steps into a trap, actually still gets Shrubby Turtle and Dark Juice up in the ult anyways.
Prism will not find anything again. Ornn just running at Caitlyn will not take any damage. Since Wani's gonna fall, Ornn wouldn't be winning the Caitlyn without flash. He can take the turret all day long and it will not matter.
Yeah, and oh man, that devs are starting to pull ahead in this game, and honestly, I think maybe Donnie's AFK. I think he may have gone for like a coffee break or something because he's still sitting behind the drag
he's not AFK. He's looking for a really, really spicy pick here.
Oh, and he's gonna find it too. Can he get the kill? Gravity field goes down. The ult comes out though. Is able to kill.
Wow. Incredible patience by Donnie there, but you have to wonder, how is he gonna get out of the situation? Gets slowed by the Zillion. Moving at 0.1, you know, whatever unit of measurements per second.
Demos.
He will be killed.
Yeah, yeah, but I was gonna say, like, with the devs already having the better scaling comp and Jinx being 6-0 now, like, I mean, I hate to say it, but this is starting to look like a bot gap this game, and
Yeah,
it's just gonna get worse for the bot lane of
and the
Mug Maniacs as this game
and the
goes on.
Victor also slowly climbing back into the game with a slighted CS advantage on the Sakali.
Yep.
Um, things really just looking south for Mug Maniacs.
Yeah.
And the gold lead, which was really not really a lead for either team, relatively even, has now turned into
Oh,
almost a 5K gold
looks
lead.
like they're committing
Ornald's
here.
going to come out here. Caitlyn's going to get black shielded, but she's just going to get
Wow.
bursted down. The Sejuani comes out.
And the rocket save. Okay, Sejuani actually manages to save the
Jax
Morgana from
jumps
the rocket.
in, looking for the Kinder. Kinder will drop ult. Jax will flash back out.
Oh!
Oh,
Donnie goes
Donnie
back
will
in,
cut
but he
back
goes
in,
into
but
the
he will get
gravity
hit by
field.
the grab field.
Oh no.
Oh
Donnie.
no. Mug Maniacs running for their lives. The dev's gonna look for this inhib turret in the mid lane. And
Yeah.
Akali dead for 20 more seconds.
Oof.
Potentially they rotate towards Baron here and try and take it.
Yeah, this is now just looking like a full-blown bot gap. Red Ranger finding himself 2 more picks in that fight, and I mean, Caitlyn was just too far up, or maybe didn't communicate with his team that he needed a bailout, so he just gets caught early in that fight, and Call of the Forge God coming in early, finding multiple people, and just splitting them up in that fight was devastating for the side of Mug Maniacs.
The dev's looking, and Ornn also, to note, level 14, handing out his first upgrade to the Jinx. The Jinx will now have a Wormfallen Sacrifice instead of a Kraken Slayer.
Why do you... Baron is Wormfall and Sacrifice, yes?
you wouldn't dare.
I would dare. Yeah, we see nothing up so far. I mean, Baron is up, but I mean, if
Mug
devs go
Maniacs do
for it.
have vision. They can rotate here if they look for it. I doubt they will.
Yeah, but even if they do, I mean, how are they going to contest with this sort of gold deficit and with the champions
Well,
they
I
have?
mean,
Called the
it's
Forge
I
God.
think it's the only way. Oh, Ornald comes through. The Morgana will instantly fall. Akali
Wow.
using everything she can to get
Akali
away.
is... Oh, she's going
Oh,
back
she's
in.
able to
Why,
go
Donnie?
back in. He will
Donnie,
do almost no
I've
damage to the Victor, and
complimented
now it
your
will be an
ability
even easier Baron.
Donnie, I complimented you so much earlier, and now I've just watched you go back in when you shouldn't have twice in a row, and it's just
Caster
making
Curse, man. Caster Curse.
Glacial Prison thrown out.
He's gonna go for the
Does
steal.
steal.
He steals it. He steals it from 1400 HP. He will fall.
He does
That
find the
is
steal, but
huge.
I mean, does it matter that he found the steal? There's only 2 people with the Baron on his team, and they're not going to be able to get the push with Morgana or Jax at this stage of the game. So I mean, yeah, it's oh
Oh,
okay.
a
Looks like
pause coming
we're
through.
getting a bathroom break.
Giuseppe Hack apparently
Giuseppe Hack
using the
got tired of
bathroom.
shitting on these kids, so he decided to go shit on his toilet instead.
I'm not sure if there's any shitting to be done left. My God.
Yeah.
But also just something I wanted to point out. The devs looking really, really, I think, just more flexible in this series. A lot of teams banning out, especially in first phase, just banning out ADOD and lane, and as the devs usually like to carry through mid. But I think they've shown a lot this series in how their bot lane can be very strong, their top side can be very strong, and they're not afraid to make plays anywhere on the map.
Not at all. And honestly, I think that I mean, devs are just showing that they're so much more coordinated this game and in their draft again. I mean, I almost have to wonder what I wish I could be inside the mind of the Mug Maniacs right now because I think that they've had some good ideas, but they've been largely sort of drafting for individual comfort, I think, with Jax being picked is this 3 games in a row now, I believe it is.
I think just
Was
two
what was
games.
what was he playing game 1? I can't even
Game
remember.
one, game one was Ornn on the side of
Oh,
Summer
that's
Stock.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, Jax, like noted in draft, not really known for his blind pick potential.
Mhm. Got blinded anyways.
Yeah. We're even when they are kind of comfort picking, we're seeing much more results
Mhm.
out of the devs comfort picking than when Mug Maniacs are. Uh, yeah.
Yep, and it actually looks like the real reason we've paused, by the way, I can't tell who's trolling and who's not. It might be a ping issue with so much dog. That might be why they've paused here. But we'll
Yep.
see. Pause is gonna keep going on. In the meantime, man, Caitlin's had you know why Caitlin's had Ghost? Because she's been invisible this game. Not gonna lie. Uh, I'm sorry, that's a little too mean.
That is
But
no,
honestly,
that's great analysis.
I expected to see a lot more out of the Caitlyn Morgana lane early, and we just, I mean, other than a small farm lead, which is to be expected, they really haven't
Yeah.
translated their early game lead with getting the kill early to anything meaningful in this game.
I'd love to hear what the Mug Maniacs' response was to Zillion as we come back to the game here. I'd love to see what their vocal response was to the Zillion being picked on B2 in
So
response to Caitlyn.
I actually think that the Zillion might not have surprised them very much because they locked it in with B3 Victor. So I feel like it wasn't like all that surprising, but I do think that having both both Zillion and Kindred in the draft might have thrown them off because, one ult revive you can play around and expect, but two makes it very difficult to calculate a fight before you go into it, and I think it's just showing itself this game that Mug Maniacs have overextended and committed too much into fights that they can't actually win this series. Or this game, I mean.
Yeah. Dragon will be spawning soon. Mug Maniac still with the 2 dragon advantage, but now down 5k in gold. There will be a TP coming through relatively deep from Ornn.
Yeah, but he's by
He will be
himself.
kind of caught out, but will it matter? It is Ornn after all.
Yeah, it's gonna matter. Oh, but
Ornn
meanwhile,
is
Jax
get
also
Zillion
in.
ulted. Ornn is able to get Zillion ulted in time. Jax will fall. The ult comes out. Says One and
Oh,
Caitlyn
it's
both
two.
will be hit.
It's just a
And
clean wipe. That's a quadra
that
kill
is a
for
clean
Giuseppe. Will
wipe.
he go for a penta? Looks like he will not. Akali here on the flank still, but they're aware of it. Yeah, and also very disciplined play from Giuseppe Hack, just committing to the dragon with his team with his smite instead of trying to go for anything crazy there. There's always a world where maybe Akali gets over the wall and steals, so
Yeah.
I
And
respect him for not chasing the penta and just going for his team's win condition.
with the death timers still being relatively low, it looks like a straight end here will not be the play for the devs, but they will be able to take the last 2 tier on the map and take a recall as they please.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and with that being taken, the devs are going to look to just reset here. They've got so much gold in their pockets now. As soon as they get back on the map here, they're poised to win a fight and win the game off of it.
And Ornn opting to upgrade Zillion's Shirelias rather than the Victor Ludens or the Kindred Gale Force
Or,
first.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I would have liked to see it on the Victor first, but maybe it's just, he is level
Or
15.
even Kindred after that quadra kill, probably basing with so much gold.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, they're so far ahead it probably doesn't matter a whole lot this game. It is little things like that though, where if you're behind and you do that, it is a mistake and it is something you will get punished for, so just something to keep in mind in the future if you are Ornn, but it's not a huge deal. I mean, they're 10k gold up basically, 8k gold.
Mm-hmm. Gold
Yeah,
lead continuing to grow for the side of the devs. Red team, Mug Maniacs pinging towards the mid lane here.
yep, they are posturing for it, but I mean, when you're this far behind and Morgana's getting
Wow.
poked like this, it's just impossible to take a fight, man.
Victor E1, not even E2, chunking Morgana for nearly 50% HP.
Yep, Akali waiting on the side here for a flank, but
Morgana
all the
nearly
fortune
dead.
comes out. Yep,
Morgana,
just gonna die.
Morgana is dead to
Just for
3
the ult usage,
abilities.
and they actually spotted the Akali. They pinged her now, so they're aware of where she's at. So they're just gonna keep barreling down mid lane here. They know that it's a 5v4 in their favor. Jack's actually getting caught
Jack's
out
possibly caught out here?
here. Yep, does have to flash out. Just another advantage that they gain.
Ornn can walk at this Caitlyn without any regard. He will
Ooh.
hit the knockup. But
Holly
no,
going in,
Ornn
but I don't
ult.
think she wants this. Gets a little lucky there. Oh, actually had blown the ult. Okay.
That will be ult down for Caitlyn, ult down for Akali, and I'm not sure if that was ult down for Jax.
Yeah, and I want to see the devs just go for this top lane tier too because they know that Mug Maniacs just use so much, and they didn't even have to do much in order to get the Kali ult, the flash out of Jax. Like, this is just free for them at this point.
Yep, and Giuseppe Hack, I think very smartly, opting not to look for that Kindred stack on the enemy wolves. Red team was posturing towards it. This will be another free in-hit tower for the devs.
Yep. I have to be a little bit critical here as well of sorry, of the Sejuani for just going for her bot side jungle first and letting the devs get a free tower there top side for the inhib.
Absolutely.
But I
Especially
mean,
being their biggest team fight engage.
yeah, I
Ornn
don't
is
know how
going
much it
to
matters at this
pull
point though.
another upgrade through. Kindred will now have the
Typhoon.
Typhoon. Riot, what are you doing these days?
Yeah, I mean, this game is just so tough. We had called it early in the draft from the beginning of the draft phase, but devs just have the better scaling here. Victor and Jinx are pretty unmatched in their scaling ability throughout the game. And
Yep.
they got early leads. Well, no, actually they didn't. Honestly, I have to call out Mug Maniacs here for throwing a little bit because they had an early advantage for the first time this series, and then they took a really dumb tower dive into a Zillion with ult, and they got super punished for it. Jinx picked up a triple kill, and I mean,
And
she's just pushed her
they
lead ever
haven't been
since.
able to return their lead since. Yep.
Hmm.
And meanwhile, the Akali, with maybe perhaps the biggest early game advantage in her lane, now not even 2 items completed, excuse me, while the Victor has 2.5.
Yep. And yeah, it's about a full item ahead in terms of gold for Victor, but I mean, honestly, I think the biggest difference this game still has been the jungle and the bot lane.
Akali gonna get slowed by the
Oh, the
Jinx.
Forge God
Morgana
every
gonna be
time.
hit after using her Black Shield. She will just fall.
Yeah, every time this call of the Forge God is up, it is just hitting this Morgana, man. It is, I mean, she has to save her teammates, but it makes it impossible for her to get out. And
Meanwhile,
that's why I
Jax.
wanted, by the way, to see this Ornn pick into the Morgana because we saw the Zac against the Morgana last
Mhm.
game, and it just was not as impactful. But Call of the Forge God, way scarier for Morgana to play against.
Yep. Jag's able to pick up a turret, but they are going to be able to pick up the wave. Not too much of a difference, but it is something.
Hmm. Yeah, and this game again, 23 to 6 kills with 3 Ocean Dragons over to the devs makes it very hard for Mug Maniacs, who've already basically been outscaled this game, to actually do anything. Um, the devs have a few options on how to close this game out now. They don't
Hmm.
actually have to force into the enemy base. They did get the Baron, but again, they don't have to do anything here. I think Victor actually just turns this and wins.
100%. Both do have a stopwatch in their pockets, though,
Yeah,
but Victor's will
it
be
just
used
doesn't
and
matter.
Akali's will be not.
Yep, Donnie throws out the sad face, frowny face, as he
In
should.
response to the Z from
Yep,
Adiodian lane,
yep.
Ornn level 17,
I
he
was gonna
does
say
have a...
before that, oh
Oh,
no, Call of
call
the
the Forge
Forge
God
God.
again. Caitlyn will have to flash.
Yeah, and I was actually saying before Victor found the solo kill onto Akali that devs actually had a few ways of ending this game. Glacial Prison does land. I guess I'm never gonna get a chance to talk about it. They're probably just gonna end the game, but they didn't actually have to force into this. They could have just waited for Ocean Soul, but it doesn't matter now. They find the fight, they find the kills, and that's just gonna be game 3
It
going
will
over
be
to the devs.
another clean wipe to end the game.
Yeah, and
Um,
I mean, the devs so far in their wins have looked dominant. In their loss so far, have looked very scrappy, and I mean, not all that far behind. Yeah, this series is looking to swing in favor of the devs tonight
Absolutely.
as they push to match point. But with that, guys, we are going to head to another break before the draft for next game, so we will see you guys when we get there. the draft of Game 4 between the Devs and Mug Maniacs, with Mug Maniacs having blue side this time around and Devs being on red side. We see the Swain ban coming back. I think it's been banned every single game against the Devs. This series, obviously, Mug Maniacs not wanting ADOD to get that champion after seeing how he played it against, I believe, Sangshi Wudai last week. And we see the Echo ban coming out here. Misfortune banned by the Devs in response. They are respecting the bot lane picks for blue side this time around in draft. Vayne coming out afterwards, leaving Samira up, which may be an option for Asteria this time around. Zillion banned in response here from Mug Maniacs as well. So yeah, just both teams adapting in draft to what's worked for the other team really well in the previous games of the series. So good adaptation from both teams here. Volley Bear being hovered here. Might be first picked. He can be blinded into a lot of matchups. Trundle being the swap though. Also really good into a lot of matchups right now in this meta. Has a lot of great utility into frontline tanky compositions. Even as Pillar just being able to disrupt fights quite well. Jinx the response potentially from the devs here. They are hovering it. They did play it last game to great success, so I would not be surprised if they thought about doing it again. But Thresh being picked up instead. I've liked this pick out of Venom so far in this series. He's done really well with it. And I do expect that Jinx is going to be... Yep, okay. So they go with the Jinx Thresh lane here. I do think that Mug Maniacs will actually just commit to like a Samira, or maybe even a Kaisa, just something more aggressive and look to get themselves ahead in this game.
Yeah, I think Samira would be a great pick here.
Lucian being picked up as well, that's another great option. Another very aggressive pick, hovered, but also hovering back to Samira is going to be something aggressive, and we do see the Samira coming out. Nautilus, very good pair with Samira. It is one of her highest synergy, highest win rate supports. And so Samira and
Very
Nautilus.
aggressive picks
Yep.
from Mug Maniacs so far.
Yep. And I wonder what the response will be here. They're gonna pick the jungler most likely from the devs here. I do think that they could just pick Kindred again. It's worked so well for them this series. Giuseppe Hack has played it with such great success, and they choose to go with Sejuani instead. So, you know,
Yeah, not sure. Giving Trundle like a clear ultimate target.
yeah,
And
especially
I agree with you. He's played really well on the excuse me, on the Kindred so far. So
Mhm. Yeah, not to mention the Kindred is just better at handling like the Samira ults and the Nautilus engage. I think that Sejuani was a little bit of a mistake here. But we see Akali and Jax actually being banned out from Maniacs here, so they are going to have to play something different in the top lane this time around. From what
from the devs.
uh oh yeah, okay. No, it is the devs banning it out, so no. It was Maniacs playing Jax, no? Right? Yeah.
Right, I'm
So
just saying it was banned by the devs, but
oh yeah, okay.
both mid laners from last game banned. So we will be
Yep.
seeing different picks.
Vladimir just gonna be locked in here. They're gonna give counterpick to top lane this time around for the devs. I think that's really intelligent. It doesn't really matter what Vladimir lanes into. He's probably going to have a tough time in lane anyways, or at least in theory he should. But ADOD actually has already won lane twice with the Vladimir pick, so maybe they're just saying, hey, I can play this into anything against Donnie. And Donnie picked the Syndra earlier in
Yeah,
the series into the Vladimir,
opting.
hasn't found success with it, so yeah, I do like him mixing it up from the Syndra. Silas a bit more of an aggressive mid laner, and might look to
Some
finish the Vladimir a bit harder this game.
Yeah, and some really decent ultimates to steal as well. The
Hmm.
Glacial Prism, the Vladimir ult, even the Threshold, given the condition.
Hmm.
And so much dog before role swapping to top the season.
Was a
Um,
Riven one
back,
trick.
yes, used to be a Riven one trick.
He's
He is back in the top
extremely
lane now.
talented. Extremely talented
Um,
on the Riven. If any of
Still not
you,
sure about blind picking it, but he does have a lot of confidence on it.
yeah,
So
if there's anything that so much dog can blind pick, it is the Riven. He's basically I mean, he's the Riven one trick of the league. I think if you ever want to learn Riven, just go to talk to this guy because he can show you um, pretty much anything with this champion. Pantheon locked in as the response to the Riven. I don't think it's actually a good matchup for Pantheon later in the game, but early game it has all in potential and can potentially snowball his top side. So David's just, or DV for VP is just throwing down the gauntlet this game and saying, I'm the better top laner, so let me prove it this game. Instead of picking something safer like the Ornn, which was available for him, or even the Zac. So, or Malphite actually could have been picked into Riven as well. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of an ego draft from the devs here, but you know, it might end up punishing them. But hey, if they're able to execute with this comp early, they still have Jinx and Vladimir scaling, so it can still be very scary for Mug Maniacs. And with that, guys, I think we are going to we're gonna send it to a break here for a little bit while we get into game. There's a 3-minute delay as always, plus they have to pick all their champs and do all the bans, so a little longer than that. We will, if we haven't already, get the poll running for game 4. And we will see you guys when we're back in game.
Hello, everybody. We are back with Game 4. Yeah, we're good.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Alrighty. Welcome back to game 4, everybody. We've got the devs continuing to stack every game, and it looks like this time around they're not going to be able to find anything for themselves early. Um, yeah, I don't know how I feel about the Pantheon pick still. I know DV for VP is an exceptional laner. He hasn't really been able to show so far this series, but the Pantheon is definitely him saying, "Hey, I can be the better laner." So
Yeah,
I think
also
we'll have to
just
keep our eyes on the top lane this game.
the nature of it being topside and not in the mid lane just kind of reduces his ult's effectiveness by 50%.
Mhm.
Silas is somewhat of an easy gank target.
Mhm.
Um, but Vladimir, of course, with no gank set up. So we'll see how that goes.
Yep. And pretty standard start from both teams here. They're just getting into it early. Good trade from Donnie in the mid lane, level 1 here. Both junglers pathing with their bot to top jungle route. So I think they know that this top lane is going to be the focus of this game.
Yeah, I really hope so. I'm super glad to see both junglers path up here. I think
Yep.
it's going to be really fun.
One thing I do need to point out though is that Asteria actually did get late vision onto Sejuani on the blue buff, and I don't know that they saw it, so they are aware of where Sejuani is at the moment, but that is about it. Trundle is pathing buff to buff, so he might look topside very early in this game.
Not a bad Q from Riven, but it is level 1 to level 2, and he is going to get a hard out traded. Oh my, the flash, or the
Oh
auto.
no.
The auto not coming through for Pantheon. That's going to be flash wasted.
Oh,
Riven's going to survive, and Trundle's going to be up here soon.
that's a
We'll s-
heartbreaker for Pantheon because he used both summoners there. He misses the Q as well. Trundle's about to come up, but he might just find the Pantheon here in this bush.
yeah, Pantheon with
Directed
no
camera is trolling a
suns.
little bit, but Pantheon actually does get pillared here, is getting chased down by the Trundle with both summoners here, and both buffs up, so he's just getting auto to death, and meanwhile bot lane, I mean, this...
Oh, the Riven Q going to get canceled by Sejuani, but Pantheon is still going to fall first.
Yeah,
But not first blood, though.
yeah, I don't... Man, there's a... That's just such a heartbreaker for DV for VP. I mean, he had both sums, he had the kill, and he just didn't auto in time, and, well, Riven got away, and then his jungler came up for the kill, so... Good kill, by the way, in the meantime, from Red Ranger on the bot side, picking off the Trundle with the
Yeah,
Jinx traps.
this heavy aggro bot lane duo losing 2v2 early is not what you want to see from Maniacs.
Yeah.
A nice
Jinx,
hook
though,
from Nautilus, though.
getting caught
Exhaust is
here,
going to be dropped onto the Jinx.
followed by the Flash. Looks like they're going to try and commit to this kill. Looks like they'll be able to get it eventually. DP for VP, though, in the meantime, man, he's just getting... This is so tragic to watch.
Silas is moving. Jinx is going to fall here. We'll see who
Yep.
gets the kill. It is going to be Silas.
Yep. And a very, very strong early lead for Mug Maniacs this game. Now, I'm not going to say anything because last game we said the same thing, and, well, we know how that went.
Yeah, we'll see if Dart Juice, I believe, on the Trundle will be able to transfer these 2 kills. Oh, they're looking for DV for VP again.
Man, he's
He's gonna
still level
fall.
2, man. This isn't right. Oh, wait. Oh,
Oh
okay.
my.
Couple of canceled
3
autos there. I thought he was...
kills. Three
Yeah.
deaths for the Pantheon at 4 minutes.
Yeah, it all goes over to the Trundle, too, so he's eventually going to be able to take this gold lead to the other side of the map, where we actually did see another trade coming out there, I think, from the bot side, but it didn't amount to much. But man, this summonerless Jinx is just going to be a prime target for this Trundle in the next few minutes.
Absolutely.
Now, with that being said, Sejuani actually has a pretty massive camp lead over the Trundle. It's not going to matter at the moment with him having 3 kills, but the XP lead is actually, I believe, in Sejuani's favor at the moment, as
Yep,
they
and
do start up the dragon.
Trundle opting to stay top for that third kill in a row. They are going to look for Dragon here, and I believe they're going to get it before Trundle even has a chance to ward or anything.
Yep.
Looks like they are. Trundle now
Trundle.
looking mid lane, though. The
Yep.
Pool's going to be dropped early with the Ghost, but the Pillar's still going to come through, which means Flash will be followed by the Vladimir.
Yep. And good flash by him. He does actually heal a ton there from queuing the Trundle in the end, so not a whole lot lost other than his summoners there in the end. We'll have to see if Trundle actually is able to path and regank there, but probably not with the pool just being as strong as it is for ganks. We'll see. But Trundle's in a very good spot at the moment. Riven also, with such a massive XP lead, will hit 6 first, so we'll have to watch and see if she actually takes advantage of that.
Yep, their
Obviously, the
Flash
ult's giving her
is...
a lot of extra damage in the trades, so...
Yes. But just to note, Pantheon's Flash is up somewhat sooner than Riven's. I'd say maybe 30 seconds or so, 20 seconds.
Yep.
Trundle having top side here, but straight into a pink ward.
Yep. And Sejuani is top side, so if they tried to go for a dive here, they could actually maybe turn it. I also need to point out that Vladimir, once again, at EOD, is doing a phenomenal job laning against Donnie, just absolutely finding a lead every single time on this Vladimir in this series, and this game is no different. He's up 10 CS in this lane already. Despite Donnie, by the way, finding that random kill onto Red Ranger earlier.
Yeah, perhaps ulting there just to get the wave even and to put pressure on Vladimir to reset. But this potentially means Donnie with no ultimate timer could be a look when he comes back to lane for the Sejuani.
Yep, and this this Pantheon pick, I think it fell off about 30 seconds into this game when Trundle decided to walk up, because I don't see him getting back in this game anytime soon, and that's just going to mean that Riven can walk down mid lane here and look to take a fight. Commits the Ignite into the Vladimir here, who
He's just going to
stands
hold the
still.
R because he knows Vladimir is going to hold pool for it. Really, really well played. Really good timer for Riven to rotate there.
Yep, and it pays off for her. Very well played by the Mug Maniacs in this early game so far. Surely nothing can go wrong at this point, but we'll see. We do see, by the way, the Trundle is pathing back up top side, so I'm hoping this poor Pantheon doesn't end up 0-4 and 0, but it could happen here.
Yeah, and
As
also
the Riven still has ult.
Yeah. I was just about to say the Riven did not use ult. The wave state is in complete favor of the Riven. If someone's dog plays this correctly,
Looks coming out here. Sejuani is down here though. This might be bad for the bot side of Mug Maniacs. Samira does manage to find the ult, trades the kill in the very end, but it is still going to most likely be a 2-for-1, and it is for the side of the devs here.
yeah, they do get some sums, and they also do, of course, give the junglers time, which is going to allow Trundle to go for this Herald. So once this Herald is taken, if it has been, it's really not too bad for Mug Maniacs.
Yeah, not bad at all. And this Vladimir is getting so much stronger than the Pantheon at this point. Or sorry, Pantheon just landed. Vladimir is getting stronger than the Sylas at this point, and it's making it really hard for Sylas to actually lane. Sylas does pick up the Glacial Prison, which may be important here, as Nautilus is roaming up now to potentially look for a fight here.
Meanwhile, this
he'll be able
top
to find
tower
it, though.
for Mug Maniacs is just getting bursted down. The
Yep,
Glacial Prism won't see anything. Will Vladimir fall before his empowered Q is up? It won't.
Ooh.
Good flash from the Sylas.
Yeah, oh my gosh, this poor Pantheon is just having the most tragic game. Now he's wasted flash again for nothing, and I mean, this Riven and Trundle are barreling down topside with the Herald here, about to crash into the tier 2, and there's no response from the Sejuani and Pantheon, and even if they step up here, I just don't think that with Trundle ult that they can actually contest here. And they actually commit to a fight here under the tower, but I actually think it can still go. Dark Juice in so much dog's way, but they actually just end up backing off in the end.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Trundle needed to flash there, but just flashing away to safety.
Yeah, no reason to give up a
top
free
side
kill there.
will just continue to...
Yeah, they're posturing for a 2v2 here, but I'm trying to see if there are any teleports. I don't see any. So it really will just be a 2v2, in which case I'd still give it to the Riven and the Trundle. But definitely by far here. As long as the Trundle can just get a good ult off onto the Sejuani. Riven with a good trade. Actually
Riven
takes a
does take
tower
the
shot
tower shot
there.
though, and will die to the ignite tick.
Oh man, and meanwhile Asteria's found his way into mid lane. Oh, actually gets hit by the Glacial
Really,
Prison over the wall though. Jinx Rocket secures the kill for Giuseppe Hack there. And
really great patience by Giuseppe Hack there to hold the prism until
yeah,
Samira's Ducky is done.
and it's just 2-0 for the side of devs in a game where they're already quite behind, and now they're actually able to secure this dragon as they come over here. Nobody from Mug Maniacs is able to contest this, so it's just going to go the way a second drag to the devs of this game.
Surely Mug Maniacs will not lose their lead and never gain it
They've just
again.
done it every game, man. Why? Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, top lane is still going very well for the devs, though. I think that the longer that this game goes on with Riven having a 20 CS lead, though, I mean, it's just going to be such a pressure point for Mug Maniacs that it's going to be hard for the devs to respond um, later in the game to this Riven split push. And I mean, if you're having to pull multiple members up just to deal with the Riven, your team is probably not going to be able to secure objectives. You might still
absolutely.
be able to contest them and get people off of them, but you probably can't look to start them yourself.
Especially if one of those champions being pulled up is Pantheon, and Pantheon, being taken away from his strengths in roaming and having to respond.
Yeah, and we see Riven actually potentially in a precarious situation here. She is by herself. They know that she's here now. Sejuani's coming down. She commits the ult into the ignite. Silas steals the Vladimir ult, but he's not going to find anything with it. And Donnie might just be in a bad spot here now. Nope. Okay. Manages to get out. Trundle commits the ult though, and they aren't able to find anything in the end. Oh man, this is another close game between these two teams. I mean, Mug Maniacs is really doing a great job of finding a lead and then finding a way to give it right back to the devs here in this series. And they are actually roaming up for a potential mid fight here. Jinx and Thresh are still in the bot lane, so they are going to have numbers here for a fight if it breaks out here. But there's just so much vision already set up from the side of the devs, so they're aware of this and just back off.
Yeah, much more of a straight bot 2v2 this game. Trundle playing fights well, has yet to die, and has his mythic completed. We'll see if the pressure continues for Trundle. Really falling behind in CS, but obviously to be expected.
It's actually kind of hard for Trundle to play this game out when you get such a massive lead super early into the game. Oh, we'll lay down till after
Alice
this
hold on the
fight.
Jinx, Flash will come out, the hook will not follow. Sejuani is here. Nautilus definitely just going to fall, but will Samir as well.
Doesn't look like... Oh, actually he does, and
They
that's the
will
bot
both
lane.
fall.
That's the bot lane of, I mean, this has just been the tale of the series. I mean, Samira and Nautilus should be winning this lane, but Asteria and Shrubby Turtle have just been outplayed through most of these laning phases. So Much Dog and Dark Juice do find another kill into the Pantheon, but I think it's not going to mean a whole lot. I mean, Red Ranger is just picking up so much here with the turret plates.
I would like to not see any more resources really, but, or I mean, at least the jungler's time not be put towards Riven.
Hack
How
caught a
about
little
the
bit
rest
here. Smites the Raptor for health, flashes out, is going to be fine. Yeah, this is a game where your top side started, I mean, just 3 kills on a Pantheon in 4 minutes, by the way. He was completely screwed in lane, but now the Riven's died once, your bot lane's died multiple times, and suddenly this game, which, I mean, should have just been completely unplayable for the devs through top side, is slowly but surely clawed back for them. Giuseppe Hack, I mean, he's done a great job of finding his way back into a lead in this game.
100%.
Yep, and let's see, looks like Looks like Rift Herald being committed here by the devs. Dragon is up in just under a minute now, but
See if a
they'll have
play
plenty of
will be
time.
made on this Pantheon here. Not all this walking. Not any response from the Herald so far.
Flash coming. Oh man, has Pantheon had Flash up once this game for a
Uh,
fight?
I don't think so.
No, he will not yet again.
But
Okay,
Herald being taken for the devs will mean river control
he's got that pirate
for
accent. Herald be taken.
Herald being taken for the devs will mean river control for Maniacs before this dragon spawns.
Yep, and it's just gonna be. I mean, Maniacs are just looking to play off vision here. I mean, if they get the drop on someone in this fight and get a pick before this dragon is even up, they will most likely secure it. So I'm totally cool with them looking for this. I think it's a good idea, and Trundle just spam dancing. Venom walking up a little
Oh,
too
the hook
closely.
is missed onto the thresh.
Ooh. Yep, and both teams looking to contest this dragon here. Uh, it would be the dragon that sets devs to soul point in this game. So we'll see if they are able to find themselves anything. But um, very slow fight. Vladimir is actually finding a potential flank position here, although they don't really
This
see
is not
everybody yet.
great for Maniacs, just allowing Vladimir to walk around the other side here.
Yeah, but he's a little far away at the same time. If they spot him out early, and with this ward coming out, they're going to know exactly where he's at. They're just going to look to commit the 4v5. Vladimir goes
Trundle
in.
falls really early. Samir ult coming through. It is able to finish off the Jinx.
And the Sejuani. And it's just a
Riven
teamfight
is
win,
ulted.
actually. It's actually just a
triple kill
huge
for
team
Samir.
fight win for Maniacs, and I mean, there's still some trade kills back. I think it's overall like a 4-for-2 in the favor of Maniacs, but um, I think if you're Maniacs, you take that. It's huge for you in this game.
Yeah, I mean,
Samira getting fed is going to be critical.
Jinx just not able to pump out the same damage as Samira in her ult in these fights,
Mhm.
and also Silas responding with the Vladimir ult, so relatively even in that category in the mid lane, and almost a double CS lead here in the top lane for the Riven.
Yep, and I mean, it's so hard for Pantheon. I mean, at this point, he can't even look for farming. He just has to look for picks and pray that. At this point, he's got to pray that he gets a shutdown to get back in the game. But if you're taking shutdown away from your Jinx, I mean, that's also in a different way harming your team at this point. So
Yeah, he's basically gonna have to start playing support Pantheon. Riven still with R is going to hold it, but
wow, he
I'm
actually just
imagining
landed.
he will be traded here. We'll see. He's gonna get hit by the hook. The gold will go over to Sejuani. Not the greatest if you're the devs,
Yeah, not
especially as a shutdown.
exactly what you want to see.
But Herald will be dropped. Tier 1 will be taken,
Critically,
and possibly Tier 2, but
yeah.
Maniacs will also look for the mid tower.
Yeah, they're just looking for the mid tower, but I definitely think that they can just take this all the way to tier 2 here. There's no real response from Maniacs towards this Herald. Silas is here, but Sejuani already spotted the Trundle and can just look to zone him off. Yep, Herald is going to crash into this tier 2. I think they're going to be able to get it here. Yep. I don't think they'll get a third crash off here. I think that's a little bit
Hopefully Trundle's
optimistic.
here in time to just literally just press smite on it. Yeah.
But yeah, Maniacs do find themselves the mid lane tower in the meantime, though. Well played to them for recognizing that they could at least get that. I still don't
Both
think it's
teams,
worth them
though,
giving up tier 2.
at literally
Dead
31,
even gold.
32.1 thousand gold.
Yeah, dead even in gold now, even with a kill lead. For Maniacs being nullified by the objective lead from the devs. I don't think
And
that. I do think that this game is going to be tough for the devs to play out mid game. Samira, when she's fed, is just so hard to deal with, and there's no like grievous wounds on anyone from the devs yet, so
yeah,
it's just it'll be really hard for them to play against the Samira. But if likewise, if she does get picked off in a fight, I mean, there's still not really much consistent damage out of um, Maniacs. So I mean, if Samira
yeah.
does get picked, there's still chances for the devs to win fights here.
And really, the most consistent thing we've seen in the series so far is the story of ADOD, um, if not out laning, then out farming consistently against
Mhm.
Donnie.
Yeah, exactly. And we see, oh man, no, not another gank onto David. He doesn't deserve this, man. Oh, and they're committing to it. The Riven ult is popped early.
Oh,
The
the
shield
E
goes the wrong
backwards
way.
from Pantheon.
Oh.
He doesn't block any damage.
I actually
Oh,
think. Oh no, he just threw it the wrong way. I mean, I thought
yeah,
maybe there was an interaction where the Riven like Q3 had hit him and it threw him backwards or something, because sometimes it'll do that, but no, it wasn't the case. He just threw it the wrong way early.
yeah, that can happen. Um, as someone with 200,000 mastery points on Pantheon, when you're trying to kite backwards and your mouse is behind you and you don't rotate it in front of you before you throw your E, but just absolutely fatal mistake there. And that will be Pantheon even further down into a negative gold deficit. Basically, support Pantheon at this point.
Yep. And it really sucks to see from DV for VP's team. I mean, they sort of trusted this to be the counter pick into the Riven here, and it's just gone disastrously for them so far. Riven 70 farm up over his lane opponent now. Silas is likewise is the same amount down, but I do think that the Riven's gonna just hit a flame horizon at some point in this game.
And you have to wonder, would this game not even be close had that auto for DVVP,
Oh
DV4VP
yeah.
actually gone off against
Oh
Riven?
yeah, that's gonna be replaying in his mind. I mean, for those of you that didn't watch the start of the game, DV for VP basically got so much dog down to 1 auto's worth of health. Less than that actually, it was like 20 health, and then he flashed for it, canceled the auto, and then couldn't secure the kill, and then he died 3 times in a row. So, um, yeah, I don't know, it's really unfortunate for the devs here.
Riven doing a lane gank on his own laning opponent. The flash over the wall. Pantheon going to ult out.
Yep, actually does get out in time though.
Meanwhile, 4v4 down here. Vladimir ult drops. Samira ult will not be CC'd. She will nearly take out two. Sejuani will also fall. Vladimir's going to have to run for his life, excuse me. Pool will be dropped. And that is another just overall teamfight win for
Yeah.
Mug Maniacs.
Good flash from Eddie to get out there at the end, but it was just a clean team fight from Mug Maniacs, and you have to think that this game is now slowly starting to slip away from the devs here in this game. They've just got such a massive gold or kill deficit, I should say, on the carries, and I mean, Riven's 3 levels up on the Pantheon, man. It's just difficult.
Yeah. And I mean, Vladimir, with so much of the team fighting potential for the devs,
Mhm.
even without TP, especially possibly putting him in a side lane in response to the Riven, just not really an option.
Yep, looks
Um,
like both teams looking for the. Oh, Pantheon's gonna be caught again. Poor guy's just not having it. Actually
you go
grabs
get
the lantern
lanterned
though.
out. See, that is the difference between a good Pantheon and a
Oh,
bad one.
Jinx traps are really good here, just completely covering her in this
Samira,
fight.
Samira
Oh
does actually
no.
fall a little too late.
Surely. I went 4 games, by the way, without saying that. Surely the team with a lead wouldn't. Oh, this is gonna be Baron.
It's gonna be bad.
All because they tried to look for a Pantheon who was already significantly behind. I mean, they just wasted so much trying to get him, and he gets out with the lantern anyways, and they just look onto the Trundle who overextended, and it just turns into a team fight win for them.
And this, at the end of the day, will even be a gold deficit for Mug Maniacs.
Yeah, gold deficit, Baron going over to the devs now, and I mean, ADOD picked up like a million Dark Seal stacks. He can actually think about turning this into a Medjai's now. In this game, he just went from 0-2-4 to 3-2-5 in the last couple minutes. So, I mean, now all of a sudden, you've got the gold in the right places for the devs on the Vladimir and on the Jinx. So, this is Wow, that was a massive, massive throw from Mug Maniacs.
Yeah, like you said earlier, if Samira is able to be caught out before her ultimate goes off, things just are really tough for Mug Maniacs in a 5v5.
Mm-hmm. Giuseppe Hack might be in trouble here. Gets caught by the Nautilus hook.
Samira able to get the full duration of her ult, but Vladimir is just bursting her down.
Yeah, but
She is
ult,
able to walk away.
that ult kind of felt like a waste though. Oh, and it goes down, but
Wow.
the
This
ult.
Vladimir healing is out of control at the current moment.
But I can't help but feel like that Samira ult was a waste because, okay, because he only got it onto one person, and that person was likely dead anyways. So feels again
100.
like a little bit of a throw. Donnie being
Yeah,
chased down here, but I feel like he's dead as well.
yeah, he will eventually fall, and Pantheon will get the gold. Meanwhile, Jinx, after an ace, will probably be able to get a full mid turret here. Potentially even more. We'll see. And still no healing reduction on the side of Mug Maniacs.
Yep, no healing reduction, and I mean, not only do they not have any, they don't have any easy way of itemizing for it. I guess Trundle could build Executioners, but he doesn't really want to complete the Executioner's item.
Yeah.
Nautilus has to get all the way to Thornmail in order to actually get the immobilizing effect for Grievous Wounds. Samira could
And
actually also go Executioners, but it's going to slow her power spike with Infinity Edge here. Um,
yeah,
yeah, it's just tough. There's no way for them to build it at this point without stalling their spike in some way, and that could be dangerous for them as we're
absolutely.
looking for third drag here.
And Vladimir here potentially being looked at
Yeah.
no longer with Pool.
Glacial
Will he get
Prison
killed?
though.
He will get killed before his red Q pops.
Yep. And that's a oh my god. Surely, man.
And what I wanted to say is Vladimir also completely happy not autoing at all in fights because of how horrible that auto animation is,
Yep.
and not just really getting too much value out of it.
Yep. And honestly, I mean, 850 gold going over to a Riven who's already full item ahead, basically. It's just there's no reason for him to be that far up when his team's not even on the map, man.
And Riven does pick up executioners. I also wanted to point out, I think Chempunk Chainsword on the side of Mug Maniacs on Riven might be the best way to itemize heal cut.
Mhm.
As I mean, CDR, health, attack damage is really all Riven wants these
Glacial
days.
Prison stolen by Donnie. It might be very critical around this dragon fight. We'll have to see. Um, but I mean, Mug Maniacs already have complete control over this river, so I don't know that the devs will even want to
And
contest
Garrett,
this.
I'm not sure if you've pressed tab recently, but this Pantheon has a shutdown.
Yep, he does, and
This will be Dragon over to the side of Mug Maniacs, but we will have a 5v5 breaking out here.
Turtle.
Nautilus will get bursted
Wow.
down relatively instantly. Trundle will flash out, and they will look to call it a day.
Pantheon ult goes way short, but honestly, that might have been a blessing. If he goes right into them, he probably just gets turned on and dies there. Yeah, I have to be, by the way, a little bit critical of Venom. He's not done all that much for setting up his team vision in this game. He's been sitting on 2 pink wards for a while. His vision score is lower than his AD carry. I think he needs to step it up a little bit in this game, even though his team's winning.
Yeah, Mug Maniacs looking to deny this mid turret. Not the greatest of wave clear on their team,
Hmm.
but not necessarily the greatest of wave clear for the devs either.
Yep, and this is another game, by the way, where I see the Thresh going Aftershock, and I question how much value he's getting out of it, because Mug Maniacs want to all in together and engage in every fight, and I feel like he gets a lot more value out of mini exhausting every single player in a team fight over Aftershocking himself. Because they're not really going to be looking to target him first, anyways, in most of these fights, unless he's like too far out. But I mean, Venom's smart enough with his positioning that that's not happening, anyways. So
I mean, they also did get first blood 2v2 bot, so
yeah, true.
not sure if Aftershock has any effect on that. Baron spawning here in the next 30 seconds. We are 20 to 20 kills, but even so, with a 5k gold lead for the devs.
Yep, 5k gold lead, and even though Mug Maniacs have river control and have done really good just clearing the devs out of any objectives this game, I mean, the devs just have shown that they're starting to scale, and it's starting to be very scary for Mug Maniacs to take these fights, because if they can't
Pantheon
guarantee a
flashing
kill,
forward, but he's not able to find a stun.
I
And that's
think
going to
this
be
Pantheon should have
trash
gone.
as well.
I think this Pantheon should have gone Ignite and Ghost, because at least that way he could run at them instead of just wasting Flash every
Oh boy.
5 minutes.
I don't think so, but
I mean, has he used Flash well once this game?
I'm not sure if he's had the opportunity other than right there.
Uh,
Riven not appearing on the wave. Vladimir going to grab a huge wave in the top side.
yep,
Bolt
and
just kind of hovering around the Sparrow.
yeah, and I want to see the devs play more aggressively around vision picks here. I feel like they've done a lackluster job of it this game, even though they have a lot of kills now.
Silas will
Donnie
be in. They're looking
going
for a pick here.
in
They'll have to
has...
flash out.
Yeah, that was stupid.
I think that engage was a bit early.
Yeah, it was... I mean, I don't know. It was just... It was very forced for no reason, especially when Mysteria wasn't quite there yet. And they're actually going to take quite a bit of poke out from this Baron, so you need to back up here. Shrubby Turtle waiting to potentially look for a hook, but I don't think he's going to find it around here.
Yeah, and Mug Maniacs opting not to walk through this mid lane River Brush, which I think is a good decision. This Pantheon could be a look. He does get hooked. He is going to get Lantern back in.
Yep, and I mean, nothing happens, but again, both of these teams just like awkwardly forcing into each other is... I think it's still better for Mug Maniacs in this stage of the game. Jinx still has yet to hit Last Whisper, so she can't really punch through the Nautilus. She can't punch through the Riven with Death Stance, and the Trundle with Thornmail about to be completed, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Level 17 Riven to level 14 Pantheon, nearly double CS, but also for the devs, nearly double CS in the mid lane for the Vladimir versus the Silas.
Yep. And Vladimir just wasted his ult, or maybe it was... sorry.
I think it was about to run out.
Yeah, it was the Silas ult with the Vladimir, sorry. But yeah, I think it may have just been running out.
I'd love to see Casey just keep going. If he's able to pull the Vladimir top, I think that's just so valuable.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon's coming up in 30 seconds here. This might just be a soul for Mug Maniacs at this point.
Swani is being looked at. She's going to flash over the wall. Glacial Prism's going to come out onto the Silas. Nautilus Soul's going to knock up three. Samir's going to go in and find one. Is she going to be able to get ult off? She drops a stopwatch. Really good timing. She's going to drop the ult after. She's going to flash forward onto the Jinx. Really clean played. Vladimir ult's going to come out and try and get the Silas. Silas will Zonius.
Vladimir picks up the kill on Silas. Yeah.
They're not able to finish off Vladimir. But an overall win for Mug Maniacs.
Yeah, 2 kills there for one, or sorry, 3 kills for one. But more importantly, the soul, yeah.
And not only soul, but 4 infernals.
Yeah,
on the side of Mug Maniacs.
Yeah, it's totaling a lot of damage here. But as I'm saying that, we might have a pick out here from the devs onto the Riven, but she's going to find enough dashes to get away.
Just Riven things.
Yeah, and she's gonna have enough dashes to go back in, maybe. Nope. Okay. Yeah, 4 Infernal Souls is huge. I mean, we've got Riven sitting at 500 AD now when she ults, 550. She's actually just gonna be such a monstrous threat in these fights, but Pantheon might have found Nautilus here. I don't think he wants it.
He might be baiting hard enough to see
Rocket doesn't quite finish him.
Samira will fall. They're gonna hook back into the Trundle. The Trundle's gonna get bursted down. Exhaust will be used. And that was just a clean
Ghost committed by Red Ranger here, but I don't think he's gonna be able to use it to get anything.
Yeah, Pantheon perhaps realizing he's not worth too much.
They're actually pinging for the Baron now, though, from the devs, so they might be able to just start and do this.
Yeah, Jungler and, you know, one of the stronger members of Mug Maniacs both down.
Yep, and this is just actually going to be a free Baron for the devs. They are going to be able to burst this down before Silas can even show up, so it will go their way. And I mean, a good 2 kills for one turns their uh, their fight into a Baron advantage. They're
They
actually
are
going to wait
waiting
for
for
Pantheon.
Pantheon. Really heads
Yeah,
up play from just Happy Hack.
yeah, I learned that one after the first time Red Ranger stopped hitting it. Um, yeah, they're doing a really good job of
I'm not
getting
sure
these
if this is
Barons
a
on him.
fight that Silas wants, even with Nautilus here.
Yeah, that looked scary for him. Rocket does hit him, but won't finish him.
Guardian Angel is picked up by the Samira. And we have yet to see what So Much Dog will be getting on his recall, as that will be happening right now. And also important to note, the Vladimir does have 14 stacks on a Medjai's.
Hmm. Yeah. Another thing I'd like to point out is that Jinx does have a stopwatch now. She just purchased one about 10 seconds ago. This could be huge in teamfights. We'll have to see how she uses it. I love it when AD carries by a stopwatch because it's usually not something that.
Pantheon gonna flash.
Yeah, this
Does
Pantheon
have a
might just be dead.
stopwatch, but he will fall.
Yep. And EV for VP just getting caught out again. But yeah, this is looking like slowly but surely potentially a win here in this game for Mug Maniacs. I mean, they've actually just like I mean, yes, they lost the Baron there, but the fights have been going pretty well for them recently around the objectives. They've managed to pick up a lot of kills, and I actually think with 4 Infernals, it's just not going to matter if Vladimir does more damage, because I mean, I still think Riven with 4 Infernals probably just blows up the backline of the devs with no problem.
Yeah, I think maybe the last purchase for him could be a Malmortius, especially if the Silas is going to be the one matching the Riven in the side lane.
Yeah.
I think he
Okay.
would just clearly 1v1
Hmm.
the Vladimir at that point.
Yep. Stopwatch still up for Jinx. She hasn't had a chance to use it yet. Well, she just bought it, but I mean, there hasn't been a fight where she's had a chance to take advantage of it. But I don't know if Mug Maniacs has paid attention to the stopwatch buy.
Oh,
Cleanse being
really good
forced out of
cleanse
this
for
area.
Samira,
Yeah, but
but
she gets
Samira is
caught
going to
anyways.
fall. Her
That's
GA
Guardian
might not have
Angel.
any value here. She's just going to get immediately killed again.
Oh no, that could be inhibitor, maybe even the base for the devs here, because I mean Samira is like 80% of the threat in these fights with how far she is ahead she is. Riven's the other one, but she almost gets caught there too. Vladimir actually, wow. I was about to say Vladimir does a lot of
Oh
damage, and he did
my.
even more than a lot of damage. He basically just one-shot the
Oh
Silas in the
my
Riven.
goodness, that healing.
Are they just gonna lose here?
Oh my 1400.
Wow. Wow,
What's
the
going to
devs
be
actually just
doing?
cleaned that fight. That was insane damage out of Addy OD. Wow, that that did not go how I thought it'd go at all. And it looks like the devs pick up their 3rd win of the series and, well, eliminate Mug Maniacs from playoffs contention.
That's going to be a very rough end to the series, especially with how many volatile and back and forth fights we have had.
Yeah, that is, whew, that's tough to see. I mean, with Infernal Soul up for Mug Maniacs, it was looking good for them there, but one pick after another, and well, Vladimir just does Vladimir things, and it's not even really a team fight. It felt like they just kind of fell over one by one. All right. Well, do we want to get an interview going, or is that a regular season thing only? I don't know.
I believe it's a playoff thing as well, but yeah,
Yep, and
we will. Garrett, do you have somebody you would like to interview, or should we see
I
who
say let's
the
let's
devs
interview
opt?
the Riven, or not the Riven, Jesus, the Pantheon, because he got hard camped by the Riven and Trundle. I'd like to
All right.
hear David's thoughts on that game. Uh, Can you not pull him in from the devs call? Oh, okay, okay. I'm
I got
asking
it.
him right now.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Yeah, DMing him right now. Okay. Yeah, he said he's cool with it, so feel free to drag him in here. Alrighty. Well, David, good to
Oh, what?
have you here. So, how are you feeling, man? How?
It's gonna hurt to sit down for a little bit, but here we are.
Yeah, that
Thanks to Trundle Ribbon.
yeah, that seeing you go 0-3-0 in 4 minutes into blowing flash for a mid lane kill attempt just to not get it, that hurt to
Yeah,
watch a little.
it was good. It was a fun time. We knew we had to have some fun, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess you could have always gone game 5 if you wanted, but I
Yeah.
appreciate you just ending game 4.
We've played too many games this season. We don't need any more. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, you guys take down Mug Maniacs in a 3-1. I actually wanted to talk about your game 1 draft because we were talking about how you guys basically just let Mug Maniacs have, or sorry, Mug Maniacs let you guys have like 4 of your comfort picks. So like,
Yeah.
you guys feel like there was some disrespect there, or what? What do you think was
I
going on in
think
their heads?
I think now that we have people who can play more than like two champs and have proved that they can, like
Hmm.
makes it a little bit more difficult to ban. I think Gabe Swain is now like pretty strong, so I get that they need to let Shen Echo fall through,
Hmm.
but definitely like we were pretty surprised. I think second rotation, like you don't have to ban Yorick, but
Right.
I guess they definitely wanted to ban it after seeing the great Yorick plays on Sunday.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
And
and
but
that's
it was a little rough, and then obviously it spiraled out of control with being able to just be around the map
mhm.
quite a bit with Chenolds. So
yeah. And that's actually something I wanted to touch more on, and something that me and Alteris brought up during stream is that we've even seen your champ pool kind of rotate around a bit, and I just wanted to hear your thoughts on not only changing your champ pool, but just the teams overall a little bit to just be a little more flexible, and what you think that allows your team to accomplish in a 5 game series.
yeah, I mean, I think it gives us now multiple play styles to play through. Obviously, like Sunday, we tried to do all in party on the bot lane, which worked game one if I didn't back in the mid lane and get stopped by Ornn. Um, and then like it stopped working, so we just switched it up and played like split push in the
Mhm.
side lane. So I guess it just shows other teams that they can't really just put their top laner on a tank because they think top lane doesn't matter. And I mean, also it helps because I mean, honestly, like you can expand your pool a lot if
Mhm.
you generally know that most of those top laners are going to play pretty weak side. So
Hmm.
there are definitely punishable picks. It's just that like solo queue, for instance, you won't be able to play the Mordekaiser as easily into Ornn and things like that because it'll get punished likely. But if it's a party in the bot lane all the time, then you can actually just put someone pretty far behind in the top lane. So
Yep. And so I wanted to hear your thought process behind the Pantheon pick because I think I
oh,
understand that you don't necessarily want to pick a tank into Trundle and just give him a free ult in every fight, but um, is there a reason behind the Pantheon pick over
I mean,
maybe
it's
something like?
probably the damage champion that I've played the most
Oh, okay.
lately, I would say. I mean, if I don't auto cancel on the Riven under tower,
Yeah, we
I
that
get first
was
Yeah.
blood.
we called that
So
out
I
so
think
many
I think that
times.
lane becomes a lot different.
I
But
know.
I also have never played Pantheon into Riven, so I'll be honest.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
That
Also
was rough.
in a lane where both laners go ignite, with
Yeah,
whichever kill
it's
it
super
goes.
punishing.
Yep.
So it was, I mean, and then like later in the game, at least it allowed me to ult around the map, like, and then I mean, you guys called it out pretty correctly by the end of the game. I was just like, well, I'm just a bot at this point, so I guess I'll just CC someone and die, and hopefully the team can clean up after we catch them out, basically. So it is what it is. It's again a different play style, I guess, you know.
Mhm.
So um, just helps us get a little bit more flexibility in the team comps. So,
All right.
but yeah, he definitely that was one of those top games where if you're playing solo queue, you're forfeiting.
Yeah,
That's one of those you don't want to
I
play
agree.
anymore.
I
True.
agree.
Now, David, I have one more question for you. Now
All
that
right.
you've played a Group A team, can you definitively say whether or not Group B is the stronger team or stronger
Oh,
group?
absolutely. Group B
All
is
right.
for sure the stronger group. I mean, I guess this is the second time we played Mung Maniacs.
Mhm.
So I mean, we did beat them in the show match, so this makes some sense for sure. But definitely, like Group B is a lot stronger. But I would say Group A has a lot more play styles. I feel like Group B is just completely everyone playing through bot lane, whereas Group A actually has some top laners. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to potentially, play against those and maybe have some more evened up matchups and some pretty volatile top lanes.
Awesome. That's
Awesome.
yeah, it's great to hear. Thank you so much, David, for coming on for a short interview. Looking forward to seeing you guys play. I believe you played the winner.
I think it's
Uh,
Froggy Fighters versus Whimper
And women
Specters.
perspectives. Yep.
Yep,
yeah, yeah,
that'll be a good one, a
yeah,
banger.
yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
or the
Oh,
loser.
sorry, the
But yeah.
loser. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that'll be exciting to watch. But thank you so much for coming on for this interview.
Yeah, for
For
sure.
everybody
Thanks,
else
guys.
watching the stream, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We will be back whenever the next game is scheduled. So thank you guys very much for watching.
Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.